Start her up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another GFW Trains live stream. We're talking about everything, but mostly trains. Today, I'm here with...
I'm Wally, the guy that takes GFW Trains places.
And OG George.
And I am the guy that produced him, who produced him. And get what you asked for.
You started it all, so if you want to blame somebody for this, blame him.
Otherwise known as George A. Woodrick. OGR forum.
Yeah, we saw that on the OGR forum today. Or yesterday when we were looking it up. We saw George Woodrick posting for the first time, but he had to differentiate himself from GFW Trains. He is...
Well, I didn't want you guys to be slandered by anything the old man says.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, so...
Welcome to GFW Trains. Friends Friday, Fast Friday, Fun Friday, whatever you want to call it. Good to see everybody here. Kick back, relax, grab yourself some iced tea or something nice, stiff to drink. And hey, let's run trains and talk trains. Right, George?
That's right.
We've got a great show for you today, and as always,
we are not going to start with the song. No, we're not going to start with the song. Nope.
Oh, all right, well, let's roll through this and see who's here. I saw some George's non-train friends in the house. So we'll start out with Brendan's Trains. Welcome to the stream. We got Tita in the house. Good to see you, Tita. LJL Rail Yard. Always good to see you. Thanks for dropping us that note. That was really, really a heartwarming note to read, and I'm glad that you're with us. Slack Cat. And George's butt.
All right, before we continue, I have a funny story to tell with Dylan. So Dylan is in my AP Hug class.
AP Hug, where they learn to give advanced placement hugs.
That's right. Anyway, it's AP Human Geography.
Okay.
And
Human Geography.
Yeah. And so basically,
over there.
Dylan and I
you live there and I live here.
Dylan and I used to sit next to each other, but our teacher miraculously changed our spots.
Wonder why.
And, I think my teacher likes me. And so we recently took a test and everybody did really bad on this test. Well, she said, fine, since everybody did so bad, I'm going to reprint the tests and I'm going to have you guys take them in groups of 3. Well, I don't know how, but she did this like random name generator. And Dylan and I got put in the same group with this other really smart girl.
Ooh, we like that.
Smart girl.
That was the way I made it through high school.
No, all right. Yeah, this is the best part, right? So Dylan and I, we're doing this test, and we got no clue what we're doing, man. We are like, oh, I think it's B. And anyways, so we came to a part in the test where we had,
What's
and it was
doing in all this?
Okay. Well, she's helping us out, or she's doing the test, and it was the teacher had us put it in like an SAT style thing, so you had to do the bubbles, right?
Scantron.
Yeah, and so am I the only person who takes tests where if there's like 3 in a row, I instantly change one because it's like you can't have 3 in a row? Well, anyways, we had a triple B on a triple C on a triple B, and Dylan and I are freaking out because it's just like against the rules of test taking. You can't have 3 in a row and then another 3 in a row and then another 3 in a row. It was just like lines.
It's not randomness.
No. And so we're freaking out. And the smart girl, she's confident that they're the answer. But Dylan and I are like,
I don't know, smart girl. So then what happened?
Well, we ended up changing the answers
and you got
later to find out that they were wrong.
Real smart guys. That's why she's the smart girl and you guys are the
dumb girl. Did she leave hers the same?
No. But
you suckered her into.
Okay, yes, but we all got really good grades on the original test. We weren't part of the people that got like 50s and stuff like that. We got like high B's, so I think we're fine. I'm not sure about McKinley, but Dylan and I were really good with. We were set with the high B's. So I've never had more fun taking a test, especially with my best friends.
It was a real test, community test. What do you answer? 3 possibilities.
We were being
I'm surprised you
social.
didn't have A, B, and C.
It was all about geography.
Oh, and this is the other part too. We're in the middle of taking a test, and we did not answer E for a single one. So Dylan and I are like,
this is wrong.
you can't have triple B, a triple C, and then another triple B, and then not answer C at all. So we went through the test again, and we made sure to put a couple for E. You can't just not have like one column blank.
Does he have a problem? Does he have a problem?
Maybe that's why I do so bad at the SATs. I think of like the
overthink it, man.
Yeah.
Overthink it. All right, my man. Let's get back. We got Jake Beathan in the house. Good to see you, Jake. Another one of George's friends from school. We got Mama Yaya, Gloria Presencia here. Right on, right on. Let's see. All right, Dylan's playing some Fortnite.
They do this thing called Friday Night Fortnite,
Uh-huh.
where all of our friends get together and they play Fortnite on Friday nights till like really late. But yeah,
Nice. So Mommy Lulu says hi to Santa Fe Queen. Santa Fe Queen just put out a GFW trains video.
did.
It has kind of causing some controversy on the Facebook.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, controversy
Yeah,
in trains?
Yeah, it was an
Never.
unboxing and a review of an Menards app.
Honest review.
I heard the story coming down the street. The guy that owns the Menards around the corner has got your.
Oh yeah, he's got.
There's a big picture on the wall in the back.
More big money, are we?
Those rebate checks are going out the window.
You don't save big money.
You will not get a rebate, and you will not get a rebate.
Nate's Trains in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Oh,
We
bad.
got the train freak in the house. And Charlie V.
Charlie
What's up,
Vasicek.
Charlie V? That's my boy. All right. We've got Uncle Greg. Hola, Trace
Hey,
Caballeros.
Greg on here now?
We
Okay.
got Greg's on here. We got Iron Horse Production. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Conrail 8098's in the house. He had a leak in the Peoria, 25,000 gallons of methyl chloride. Don't go by there, all right?
All the accidents that happen in Peoria.
Right. We got Ronnie's Crazy Adventures 24/7. Welcome to the stream, Ronnie. Good to see you.
I wonder if he's on a crazy adventure.
Yeah, he's probably on a crazy adventure to see what's going on. We got Gage Range in his house. Good to see you, Gage. Dylan says, I got cream soda. That's George's favorite, by the way.
Dude, that's like their friend group, man. We made that popular at school. Everybody loves the cream sodas.
Everybody loves.
Maybe that's why we couldn't find them at Menards.
Did you see
Also
that, George?
What?
Did I hear the song? Oh, yeah, right for all your friends. Listen up, boys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been working on the railroad.
I've been working on the
Railroad.
all
the livelong day. I've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away.
George, he's soloing now.
Can't you hear the word?
Rise up so
Early in the morning, not George.
Yeah, I know the rest of the words.
All right. There we go. For those of you who don't know, and thank you, Train Freak, for
I can't believe George doesn't know the words that I've been working on the railroad.
Well, I don't sing songs that
George hasn't
often.
been working on anything. That's why.
Oh, you got to know the words to some songs,
Yeah,
George.
he's not a singer. I don't know too many. I don't
Well,
know
you got to
too many of
sing. You
those
got to sing.
rock and roll. So,
Hey, George, sing in the shower. It makes everybody sound good.
Yeah. All right, well, we got Ronnie. I'm hoping you're having a train adventure, and that's the start to your train adventure with us today, right? Our Denny's in the house. Happy Friday from snow-covered Philadelphia. We're sending, actually, it's really cold here in the basement, and Dad said, or Grandpa said, it's in honor of all of the people out there out east that are suffering through the cold right now.
And snow, you guys are going to get, you guys Easterners are going to get it the next day or so, I guess. I pity for you. We out here, we had a big snowstorm down in the city of Chicago, but out where we are, both where I live and where they live, I didn't get any snow last night, but they got 8-9 inches down by the lake.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Oh, man. So, all right, back to the stream. We got Apple and Oranges in the house. That's OG George. Wally was a stranger in the middle.
A guy who does chem homework all the time.
Chem homework boy over here. He's up to his...
Dylan's in that class too.
Yeah,
We have a lot of fun doing the lab.
right?
See, yeah, Dylan says, yeah, you can't have 3.
You can't have 3 in a row. Exactly. I thought you studied. And then I'm with Train Freak. You can't go wrong with a smart girl.
Nope.
Can't go wrong with a smart girl. We got Lambo in the house. Good evening from sunny Southern California. Don't rub it in. Hello to that good-looking guy in the blue shirt. Who's he talking about?
Hey,
I don't know. It kind of blends in with the background. Can't really see it.
Oh,
I got the
Lord.
TCA threads on right now.
Ooh,
You know
man, he's
that?
got the buttons.
Yeah, how you doing, Brendan? How you doing? Let's see here. Rolling through here. It's always good to see George's friends. George, is that why you got it? They're wondering.
I did not get a 600 on PSAT. I got more than that. Just not good score. But I got more than 600.
Hey, and for all of you who's on here, LJL's got a new rail server, so go check that out. Maybe if maybe we can get that posted up for you, LJL, as the stream rolls on. So, yeah, I maybe if you send it to that Train Buds, I can roll back around and see if I can pull that out and pop that up there for you. So Robert Searcy's in the house. Good to see you, Robert. David Stevens, happy Friday. For those of you who haven't already, grab your favorite iced tea, cream soda, or your nice stiff drink, and join us here as we talk about trains and enjoy each other's companies running trains.
Apple and orange. He's the oldest.
I am older.
Yeah.
So, yes.
By 2 years. We're not twins.
Yeah, she's better looking.
Yeah.
No.
She's yeah, she's better looking.
Hey, Catnuts in the house. How you doing, Southern Yankee Catnuts Railroad? Woohoo! All right, yeah. Thanks a lot, Train Freak. We always appreciate those super chats, even if George struggles with all of those railroad songs. But hey, it's great to see him get embarrassed, isn't it? Throw up a little bit of coin and see George get embarrassed. I would slap down some money right now, but I'm poor. I spend all of George's college money on lottery tickets and trains, man. Lottery tickets and trains. And for all of you guys that are out there, especially you, Gage, you play baseball with George. I'm investing in George's left arm right here. His left arm. This thing right here is going to make me millions of dollars. What do you think of that investment, huh? Huh? Think of all the trades you can buy with the millions of dollars I'm going to make off of your left arm. The golden arm.
Every train in every catalog.
Every train in every catalog.
No, you know what you do? You buy the company, then you can have everything.
Oh,
And then you can make money.
You can have the prototypes. Be like, hey, Train Finder Craig, come get me, man. I got the prototypes.
These prototypes, dude. I got these prototypes.
I wasn't thinking. I should have brought that car down.
Which car?
My 1954 64.
Krampus got himself one of the rarest cars out there in line.
Yeah.
64.
We're not
Western Pacific.
Not
1954 on.
Not to brag, but we don't know. I scored
barn find.
I scored this car. Now the word on the street has Lionel, and now I want you to know TCA just made a car with 1954 on it.
I know.
But anyway, Lionel back in 1954 made the Western Pacific boxcar, the orange with a blue feather, and they made allegedly the number is varied, but they made 6, or people say there's 6 known to exist that were given to the executives of the Western Pacific Railroad or somebody or whomever. Okay.
Krampus purloined himself one of those.
Well, we don't know for sure, but
got himself some digging out.
It's invested in the left arm, buying rare trains that you don't know if they're fake or not, and then
it's the deal is this: I've got a body from the 1954 era. I've got the paint job of the car. There's a picture in one of the books of the car in black and white, so you can't tell a lot, but all the markings look exactly alike. It's also just a shade bit lighter than the production 64 100 car. And in the picture, the black and white picture, it looks like that. And it's built on, everything is correct for a 1954 car. Now, I didn't pay pretty much for the car. And I said, well, this can't be right. But it's good. But I will tell you what, Columbus took a chance and look what he found. Don't say the United States. It was somewhere in the Caribbean. He was looking for the United States.
Hey, good to see some of the new guys. Luke Garcia, welcome to the stream here. And hey, if you're joining us right now, do us a solid. If you're not a subscriber to GFW Trains, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you can be notified of all this great content and all of this great railroad camaraderie, huh, George? And the other thing, do me a solid. Do me a solid right now, even if you're a subscriber. Go down there and smash that bell button, right, George? What do you got to do?
Smash it.
Smash it. Get that.
Two thumbs
Not the bell
way
button. Did I
up.
say the bell button? Smash the bell button and
Like.
smash the like button.
Like button, man.
Right. Suppose if you're a subscriber, smash that bell button too. That'd be helpful. Right.
Wait.
So Luke Garcia says, I've never seen the train room. It's epic, if I do say so myself.
Luke, this is quite a operation. I got to tell you what. This is this is a place, if you ever can score an invite to this inner sanctum here. It's beautiful train setup here. It's a operational, great layout. It's one of the nicest operational layouts I've ever seen. All thanks to these two geniuses. Who's going to take the credit now between the two of them?
Left arm. His left arm. That's what it is. I'm investing in his left arm. George is a southpaw to answer that. Yep, it's his left arm. It's right here's where the magic happens. Right here in this house. Screw everything else. This is what
it's all with the flick. It's all with the flick, baby.
Okay. What, I got to show you how Wally gets up in the morning, wakes George up, picks up the arm.
Yeah. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Well, man, I can't reach the other one.
Yeah, this arm's never experienced the treatment.
Rutgers Jitney in the house.
It didn't work for me. Didn't work for me.
Piscataway, New Jersey.
Oh man, Rutgers this year. I love the basketball team. Woo! They got all the upsets.
Yeah. Hey, Ken, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. There we are. Hold on, I missed Ken. Where'd Ken go?
He's right there. Right behind, under. Right.
There we go, Ken. Welcome to the stream. Smash that like button. Good to see you here. Let's see here. Brothers.
Conrail 8098. Yeah, it could very well be from Wellspring. I don't know where it is, but it is all made in 1954 products.
So the Wellspring, it wouldn't have been Wellspring, not at all, because Wellspring owned Lionel during the Neil Young era.
Okay.
So Neil Young was with Wellspring and they're bought. So it wouldn't have been that. The actual Prodigy, or not Prodigy, but the actual story behind that 1954 car. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Grandpa. Is that they made a few of those back in 1954,
right?
The number 1954,
right?
And they gave those to the executives of the Western Pacific
Railroad.
Correct.
Correct.
Did they do that with like all the railroads?
No,
just the Western.
Well, who knows?
That was the only one that they've got confirmed. You know, they might have done special one-offs or something that we really don't know, or might have got lost. But that one is one of the most special cars that Lionel made in 1954. That orange feather car was it was a super hard one to get.
Only one set.
So that 64 100 car is probably the rarest Lionel car.
Production.
That's not a variation. That's the rarest.
Yeah.
So that's what they started with, and they took those and made only about 6 of those. Put 1954 on it. And
right.
To the executives of the Western Pacific.
It'd be interesting to find out. It's kind of an interesting car. Like I say, I didn't pay a lot of money for it, so I really don't care because it is a 1954 car. It is on a 1954 shell on a 1954 chassis with 1954 trucks, and it looked to me, what the heck, you know?
Everything matches up.
I have not seen another one, so hey, I'm happy.
So Robert wants to know if we're going to run some Lionel tonight. We got everything operating a little bit smoothly right now. Maybe we'll switch out to some Lionel a little bit later. But right now, I'm sorry. Yeah, some Lionel.
Oh, Lionel.
Are you going to run some more?
Some Monon.
Monon.
Yep. So maybe we'll hit that Monon button a little bit later. Let's see here. So LJL says, can we do a live stream together next Friday? We can't do it next Friday, LJL, but we'll get you. On one of these upcoming streams. We've got a couple of people who are trying to line up, and we've got Trainman Dan. Trainman Dan's going to be on next Friday. He's going to be a fun guest. He's got a great layout there too. So we're going to be a guest going over to his house next week. So here's a good one that Nate's Trains brings up. What is one engine that you wish Lionel would make? That's a good question.
They made the Class A. I would have said another Class A.
Well, didn't they?
But they just come out with one.
Yeah,
they just come out with one.
They're redoing the Class A.
I'd say a Little Joe. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, Lionel Little Joe.
Yeah.
One like that.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Mine is
brass.
Mine's brass. Mine's a Genesis. I wish that Lionel would come out with a
They
Genesis.
come out with the line chief ones, although I think Atlas got the tooling for the.
Right.
They need to come out with a Genesis that's got authentic Genesis sounds.
Atlas just came out with a new
whole line of Genesis,
but
different
I
paint
wonder
jobs.
what the sounds like and everything like that. They look beautiful.
Well, you know those Genesis that we bought years and years and years ago.
The Williams ones.
Williams one, and we bought the sound units to put in them, and they are the most authentic of the sound units I've heard for an engine like that. They've even got the generator wind up,
the turbocharger.
I don't think it's the turbocharger. That's not a turbocharger. I don't think. You could be right. But those sounds are in it, and you let it sit there. It sounds just like sitting by a Genesis engine when it stopped. So they did some neat things. I got to tell you about the first sound unit. This is kind of an interesting story.
Oh,
no, not the first sound unit, but it's not that.
All right, Wayback Machine. Let's hear what.
No, the way here's it. I bought a sound system, and it had a little board and everything, and I connected it with. I put it on the inside of a
styrofoam cup.
Seriously? Yes, a dummy B unit. And it had a little styrofoam cup that you marked the speaker in.
Yeah.
And we had a meeting of the board of directors of the Midwest Division of the Train Collectors Association at my house. And I had put this engine on the track with the noise going, and you could hear it. And all of a sudden, I had all 8 guys that, what's this noise? Where's this noise coming from? Because they hadn't put kind of a decent sound unit in anything.
I remember when we bought that at York.
Yeah.
And I remember it was in a styrofoam cup, George.
Really?
And that was what created the microphone.
Well, we had to put it on the layout here one day.
Yeah. Well, what is it in? Do you remember?
It's in the dummy B A unit of the 2333 that's sitting on the table.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to bring that over. You can hear the old side. I remember that.
Going
bringing that back
to the Genesis talk. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Third Rail's making a TMCC Genesis.
Ooh,
that's the only one that I think I know for sure will be in TMCC. Atlas, I think they're probably going to use Pro Sounds 3, but in my opinion, I think the MTH diesel sounds are way better than the Lionel ones. And I think that the Lionel steam engine sounds are way better than the MTH ones.
I get that.
Because if you put our SD70 on, a Great Northern one, it sounds light years better than our Lionel ones. But if you put on, in my opinion, all the MTH steam engines sound the same. You can't change my mind. They all sound the same. No matter what you say, what sounds they come out with. Where with the big boy...
All of the Pro Sounds, you think?
All of them.
Really?
Every single one. The only thing that's different is the pitches of the whistle, but even then, they still sound the same.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Where with the Lionel ones, at least there's some variety, except for Lionel has been really locking on the whistles, in my opinion. That
you like this? The little Pacific that my wife bought me.
I do like that. Yes,
it's neat. It's got 3 or 4 different whistle tones.
But those are all whistles in popular steam engines, which is cool.
Right.
But you have the big boy whistle in there, which I might remind you is on every single Union Pacific steam engine that they've come out since 2010.
Lionel.
Yeah, Lionel.
Yeah,
the Vision Line Challenger, the Vision Line Big Boy, the 844, even the Christmas locomotives, the Christmas Pacific that they came out with, they all have that same sound.
That's interesting because that first Big Boy has a sound that's more like a horn, which is what was really on the engine.
Yeah.
And that what is the number you got one too? It's at the 8,000.
Oh, 2006. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 4006.
Well, we got a little lull here. Welcome to the stream there, Nick. It's good to see you. Sid, welcome to the stream. Van Dorn Media Works, welcome. And Joker's Trains, good to see you here, guys. Kick back, relax. Let's talk some trains. You guys always have some good input on things. In fact, Sid was saying that he
LGL
he feels
NYC.
He agrees with George that Lionel has the best quality in the steamers with the sound, and in the diesels it's MTH.
Yeah, but going back to the whistles too, right? So then you got the other whistle, which is in Grandpa's
Sid Zone.
which is in Grandpa's Pacific, and that's the one that they use in all the Berkshires.
Right.
We have a
Stop in the world, man. That engine is good.
The Milwaukee Road has an ailment in here.
Brass. George loves brass trains.
I do.
Love brass trains.
Love
Hey,
me.
Joshua, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. If you guys are just joining us, do me a favor and smash that like button. That would be a super helpful thing for us to do. Super helpful. Well, Train Freak, thanks for joining us when you did. I always appreciate you hanging out with us as long as you can here on Friday night. It's always fun to be with my friends on the gateway to the weekend. And speaking of that, it's always good to have everybody here, everybody talking about trains. And you know what? Let's keep this energy going. Train collecting and train operating can be kind of an insular hobby where you do it by yourself. And everybody here knows that it's much more fun when you do it with other people. Right?
Absolutely.
And, I think that it's really neat how everyone has coalesced in all of these different YouTube communities and have made some great friendships. And so let's keep that going, guys. Look who's on here. Go to their channel. Take a look at their channels. Like, subscribe. LGL Ray are just talking about putting up a server where you can check out some of the stuff that he's got. Check that out. There's some great people here with some great channels. And keep this going, man. Keep this talk so it's not such a. I don't even want to say that trains are a closed hobby because it's not really a closed hobby. It's just
certainly not a closed hobby.
It's just that not everybody. It's not like a baseball where you go out and you play baseball with your neighbor, or football, or even Fortnite or something.
Right.
It's just the nearest guy that has trains with you might be 30 minutes away.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's really funny. We moved in the house where I live in, and I didn't know, but there were two guys within a block of me that had. Basically, I was in a little bit more in HO at that time, and they both had big HO layouts, and I never knew it until one of them passed away, and that was really Mr.
Right.
Yeah, and then. I heard about the other guy because I met him at his funeral, and they're within a block of my house. I never knew it. And
and that's what's kind of sad is it's just something that it's always nice when you're able to talk about it with people and not necessarily talk about it with people, but to share it with friends. And
right.
I love it when I'm hear George talking with all his buddies. And actually, last week, one of the things that brought a smile to my face is last week. George had a live stream, and just was a pop-up live stream. He decided it's engaged layout.
I like that. That was really cool. That was really cool.
Pure. He talked with his friends. His friends they're good interaction, and that's one of the things I love about them. I love that with everybody here. Thank you so much for that. And giving that to me, giving that to my son, and hanging out with my family, all of us. We got 3 generations here. All 3 generations of us love trains.
We're all crazy. That's what some people would say anyway. But the train hobby is, the neat thing about it, and I always say it on the show all the time, is nothing is ever wrong. It's all just different. It's just different. Yeah, I love looking at everybody else's layouts. I really, I think that's the greatest thing. It's that's the best part of looking at somebody else's work, somebody else's layout, exchanging ideas.
Right, it's so cool. You
get
on YouTube and then you see somebody else's layout and see some of the neat stuff. In fact, T4 just popped on here. Tiny Town Trains TV. He's got such a cool layout and the things that he's putting together with this series on YouTube. I mean, and it's so fun to watch, and it gives you so many ideas as you're doing your stuff, right?
Right, absolutely. It's it's such a good hobby, and we think of it here in the United States, but unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunate, but the guys in Europe, there's a lot of train guys in Europe, and some of the other Australia and that. Because of the time zones, we probably don't catch. We used to catch a couple of guys from England all the time.
So Sunday mornings, I get up and I usually get on, and there's a couple guys from Great Britain that I catch their streams and have a good time with that. George Sid says he wants you to help him. He says that he needs some PFE reefers for his JLC big boy.
George has got a corner on PFE reefers. He just tried to put the arm on me for another one.
Oh yeah.
He wants silver ones now. He wants of the orange. He wants a little change of color.
Yeah.
Mix it up a little bit. Mix it up. Yeah. No, and you're right, Isaiah. Sometimes looking at people's layouts would serve as an inspiration.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and you know the thing is, you see something that you did, and you see it pop up on another guy's layout. And you say, you know, that's the copying is the most sincerest form of flattery, and
Right.
as long as you believe that, and again with train layouts, you get ideas. You know, I'm probably at the end of I'm probably not going to build another one myself, but boy, after watching these guys put this thing together here, I say, oh, well, why didn't I think of some of that stuff when I built
the
mine?
one thing that I've seen on everybody's layout after you put it out in your the Classic Toy Trains catalog is the Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
even the New Jersey High Railers has got a Godzilla on their layout.
That and I'm going to give the credit for Godzilla to my dear wife.
What? That was me. That was me.
Well, okay, you
I brought Godzilla.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm kind of with Papa on this one. This is
you two fight it out. I'm not.
All right, I'll fight it out with her. I'm the Godzilla guy. I love Godzilla. I've always loved Godzilla. I brought it over.
Okay, whatever. I'm innocent. I'm innocent. He appeared on the layout eating one of my my electric. What is it? The generator car. He's sitting there eating and figure he liked the electricity, so he's eating a generator car. Go figure, huh?
third on my list. Go figure.
That's the only time I've ever seen a generator car opened up too. As a matter of fact, the one that's sitting in Godzilla's.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
But
yeah, that's one night. I agree with George. When there weren't any, and then it was in Classic Toy Trains, and then we were featured. And in fact, we're copying off of your layout. I'm gonna do this real quick. There's Godzilla in our layout.
Yeah,
right there.
That's a mini Godzilla. Is that like a mini Ditka? But yeah, you know, the neat thing, I don't get a chance to be on the show all the time, and I'm like you guys. I sit and I listen and I try to make comments when I find something interesting, and I always tell Wally, try and pick up a thread, talking about subjects you guys are interested in. And I had a thing happen on my layout, right? Kind of a tragic thing as far as I'm concerned.
Shred it.
I bought a very nice K-line Southern Mikado, and then I went out and I managed to scarf up the passenger cars for that train for the Southern Crescent, and I had a derailment under my mountain in my layout, and I turned the power off on the track, and when I went back to find out what was going on and everything, got a bunch of sparks, and I couldn't imagine what they were all from as I was trying to take the derailment. Well, it managed to fry the cable going from the tender to the engine, and I've been looking for a plug for that, which is impossible to find the tether. And we tried the engine with another tender, and must be something else wrong in the engine. But my first step is to try and find a tether. A fellow's selling me one that has just 4 wires in it, but it's the six hole plug. But anyway, now let me tell you why I got all the sparks. And this is the interesting thing. I have 3 ZW transformers that power the layout. And okay, you'd say, well, you had the sparks there and that the circuit breaker blew or whatever have you turned the power off. Well, the thing is, it was on the switches are all powered on another transformer, and the switches are set up as non-derailing. So there's power going into the switches, also transmitting on when you cross over on the rails and stuff like that. There's still power on them, and so that sparking did my engine. The engine runs just fine. It's just the sounds don't work going into the tender, but it just something I didn't even think of it. I was going over in my mind what the hell happened to this thing. So, but anyway,
that's interesting. I never even really thought of that. And I don't even. I mean, isn't the negative as opposed to the positive? So those wouldn't be the non-derailing wouldn't be hot.
Well, there's something. Well, no, because your switch, you've got power going to your switch motor and all that in there. And because you take your non-derailing, you have your 3 plugs, and you've got for the non-derailing, you're just running off an insulated rail, but you still have power going to the whole switch motor and switch machine because it's coming off another transformer.
Right. So, welcome to some guys that were just coming in the stream. Sean's Trains, welcome. Good to see you here. Jimbo, oh yeah, loving that. And Jimbo, give Jimbo that CC2 whistle right there.
Altoona, yeah.
That's a good one. Good to see you Good to see you. And guys, do me a favor, smash that like button. I'm like a broken record on that, but sorry about that. But hey, and I like T4's idea. Everyone's going scale. Time for a scale Godzilla.
A real life one, huh?
I like that. A scale Godzilla.
Hey, you guys on the East Coast, maybe that hurricane bringing the snow up is going to have Godzilla pop up with it.
Right. Yeah, and Sid caught that Hudson behind me, George. What's that Hudson over there?
Oh, it's a K-Line one, yeah. Very, very nice. I think it's the best TMCC engine out there for your money. Best bang for your buck.
Right. Ooh, look what we got, George. Mr. Pictavid in the house.
Maybe like a solo on the CC2.
The CC2 solo. Is that a Jingle Bells on the... All right, Grandpa. What's another railroad song?
Okay, Up and Down the Monon. We always sing that one.
Up and
down the Monon, everything is fine. She's a real live Hoosier line. All aboard, all aboard. She's a rootin' tootin' Hoosier line.
Hoosier, Indianapolis 500.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Monon Bell. Monon Bell.
That was a weak one, but that was our offering for the Monon line. Huh, George?
Yes.
All right. So LJ, yeah, maybe we can. I would like to do that. Did you put up here whether you sent me that that link, and then I'll go take a look if you sent that out there. So yeah, we get a lot of good juju about that K-Line TMCC Hudson. I like that one a lot too. There's a couple of engines that I like that are about that era that are really nice, but K-Line we've got that Mikado, that K-Line Mikado that came out that same era. We got that Berkshire, which when you compare it's the same mold as to what Lionel's putting out now, and those are just some great engines. So,
yeah, no, I think that they're amazing. If you put Cruise in them, they run like champs. Especially, the only thing that I've ever had problems with the K-Line engines is the couplers.
Yeah.
That's I've always had the GFW train does it, the Hudson does it, the Berkshire does it, but the coupler's open.
Yeah. Right. Apple and Orange, my layout has the Ross switches. It has Gargraves track with then I have a separate part that's all INL Super O, and these guys have all Ross switches and Gargraves track on here. I don't think they have anything else, but
we got a little bit of Super O and a little bit of tubular.
Okay,
we still got the tubular up.
Well, that's got to come out though.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the track. Basically the same thing with. You have the you guys don't have the same. You have the same metal that I do that the Magnetraction works on your Gargraves, right? Yeah. That's the one thing you want to watch out with the Gargraves. If you get the stainless or your Magnetraction on your old engines, won't work. Now, how many people? When I built my layout, I'm sitting there thinking, I never dreamed I'd have as many new engines as I did. All I was planning on running was all my post-war stuff, and so all these new stuff really makes a difference. You have a lot of fun. You don't run your post-war as much as you used to, and it's kind of a shame too. I've got several post-war engines that I just like to put out, just because I like the throttle. I wish somebody would, rather than making all these turning things, they'd make a throttle stand where you go like this. Crank it in for the diesel, where you have that big arm. You can pull back when the steam engine. Remember when we drove the nickel plate?
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you guys know what the throttle looks like on one of those giant steam engines. You tell them, Wally.
Oh, you got this, Dad. Roll with
Oh
it.
God, you sit there in the cab and you look out there and you see this big black thing in front of you. You know, how could you see anything down the track?
Hundreds of thousands of tons.
But the big, you have a big arm there that's the throttle. And if you ever watch some of the pictures of the old guys driving the train, or even the guys driving the big boy, you know, you'll see him pull this thing, inching it back like this. And you know, we never got up to anything but switching speed. But you know, you sit there and they control the speed with the brake, not so much the throttle. It's just putting it on the brake, stopping it. You don't even have to mess with the throttle. But it's such an interesting thing. You ought to see one of GFW Trains' productions there where they show Wally driving the 765 is the number.
George, yes.
Well, they got the one with you driving.
On my channel?
Well, I don't know. It's on the.
On GFW Trains.
There's one I look at all the time that's got you driving it, because I know I took the pictures. Because you're hanging out the window and you missed the place. Remember where we were supposed to stop it, and you missed it. You really missed. I thought you were going to go all the way into the engine house with it. I said that'd be fun. I wouldn't know him.
Let's change the subject. See you later, real fan. They appreciate you coming in today. And for those of you just rolling through the door, welcome to GFW Trains. If you're new around here, I'm Wally. George GFW Trains is switching out, I think, out of his sweatshirt. He'll be back right here. And this is OG George. If you're not new around here, welcome back. Join the fun. Welcome to the stream. One of the things I saw back up here, Sid was asking about those cars behind the Hudson. That was, in fact, my Christmas present from my old man over here. He got me a set of the scale the scale cars for that Hudson, and it was quite a good Christmas gift. Love those. All die-cast and nice cars.
Boy, do they weigh a ton.
Yes, they look good, though.
Yeah,
they look good.
They look good. They roll. You know, what's really amazing is all these heavy cars. They roll so well with, you know, when a little drop of oil. And man, back in the old days, George is on the bridge here. Back in the old days, you know, you have a little engine. I have a little Prairie that I run all the time. And back in the old days, you know, couldn't pull but 4 cars, anything more than that. It would spin its wheels and everything. But all the newer cars today, you know, they just really run so smoothly. Now that little engine will pull 10, 12 cars, no problem.
Right. And the cars, too, like the modern cars, where they've got the pin
roller bearings.
The pin roller bearings. They run so much smoother than the old ones. I can't believe it took so long to figure that out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one of those things. I'm sure that some engineer sitting at the dinner table one night was like, why haven't we been doing that since 1901?
Yeah. Well, you know, the other thing that, you know, and I haven't paid much attention to it, but they have the tapered wheels, so that on a curved track, you don't have the binding on the curved track.
Right.
So that used to, gosh, you run a whole train of post-war cars, and it's amazing how much more power it takes just to go around the sharp curve, because all the old cars don't have the tapered wheels and that.
Yeah.
I had a really neat thing. I had one new engines, and I put a 14-car train out of all post-war cars just to see how powerful the engine was, and the thing just walked away with this stuff. It was just amazing. That new Lionel Pacific. I can personally endorse that engine. That's a sweet little engine. It's expensive, yeah, and gulp, but boy, it runs nice. It sounds nice and looks nice, and it pulls like a dream. So if you're wanting to spend your money on something other than the big articulated, that little Pacific is sure nice. And if you're looking at some strange road names, you get a hold of Mr. Muffin's Trains down there in Indiana.
He's doing.
They did a lot of different road names. They made them up, had them made up by Lionel and Menards.
He's doing a custom run of the Pennsylvania Class A's.
Oh, is he really?
Do you want to know who got him to do that?
Who?
Jason.
Really?
The guy from Rovinoville. Yeah, he emailed him. It's like, hey, do you think you could do a custom run of this? And it's like, yeah, sure. Apparently, it's like supposed to happen or something like that. Wow. Pennsylvania's supposed to get Class A's, but I don't know.
Interesting. Well, welcome to the stream, guys. Aaron Cleveland, welcome to the stream. Rocket Man Bill Cabernis in the house.
Oh, hi there, Bill.
Good to see you, Rocket Man. And for those of you that haven't seen it, you've got to check out the newest GFW Trains video that's causing some controversy on Facebook. So, my George, we wanted to. All right, I'm going to set the scene. This is what it is. So, Bill was one of the people that got the Menards F3, the 3.5 beta version of the F3. He was real excited about it. Called me up and says, hey, let's do a video on it. Let's get George to do a video on it. George had a chemistry test, so he wasn't available. So we asked Anita, and Anita's like, sure. And she was real excited about it. Brought it down here from boxing, and, well, hey, all I can say is that Menards train was a beta version, and it wasn't on all fours. And the video came out.
Literally.
Yeah, right. It's literally. They were and we took a video of it, like figuring out what was wrong with it, and it was a busted engine right out of the box. So we put that up there. I put some stuff on Facebook about that video, and everybody's like, oh, Menards is good. Menards is bad. Menards needs quality control. It's a beta version of the engine. So, but anyhow, you have to check that out. And I'll echo what Rocket Man Bill Cabernis says is thanks to the Santa Fe Queen for doing us a solid and helping us out with that video. And thank you, Bill, for bringing that thing over so we could check that out.
So you guys are on the wall at the Menards on 64 and 59. Your pictures are there. Do not serve.
Menards turned out and heard about us, Bill, and you know what? They're saying you will not save big money.
You will not get your rebates.
No 11% for you. You don't save big money. So, Slycat's asking about your Prairie locomotive. Is that a 2018, Dad?
No, it's a 1666.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's the number 1666.
So, and speaking of engines that we got out, what are you running here? We haven't really talked about that. What are you running today, George? What do you got going on here?
So
that whistle's kind of.
Hey, look who's on, Annette.
Oh, Annette's in the house. How you doing, Antoinette? Smash that like button, everybody. Smash it, smash it, smash it.
You got 3 of the 4. At least half my kids are on here tonight. Anyway.
Woo. All right. So what do we got running, George?
So on track 1, we have the scale Santa Fe F units. My personal favorite. Those are my favorites because we ran them all the time on Grandpa's layout growing up. Then on the track on the outside, we were running the Little Joe, but it was kind of giving me problems. It was weird. It like kept coming up with the speed limit like caution thing on the controller. I've never seen it before. The Little Joe.
Really?
Yeah, and it stopped. So I don't know. But
the centralized train control there.
Yeah, man, Big Brother's watching.
Yeah.
But anyways, so then I changed it out with the CC2. Which you haven't run in a while, so I thought it'd be pretty
that's
cool.
good. It's running good. That sometimes gives us fits on our layout.
Yeah, it's gone
well tonight.
A record-setting 8 laps.
It's that one's one of our more finicky trains. I know that people out there have their layouts. There's some probably some trains that want to run well on the layout, and some that don't run so well on the layout.
But yeah. So then on the top loop, we have one of my personal favorites, the JLC Challenger, the one we had weathered by Angel Garcia, and then my beloved reefer train.
Reefers.
Yes.
And his reefers don't smoke.
No, they don't. They screech.
They don't make a scale smoking reefer yet. If they do, I'll buy it though.
I'll see if I can get one of the boys down the street. Make it a smoking reefer. Then you can.
Oh no!
Look. We've had a major interruption here.
Happened.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. As soon as we say it, stops right in front of us.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. So a couple people rolling through the stream. Guys, smash the like button if you would. If you're not a subscriber to GFW Trains, subscribe and hit that bell button. If you're a subscriber and haven't hit that bell button, you get all of the great stuff from our live streams to videos such as the one with the Santa Fe Queen. But welcome, Chicago Railroad Vids and Photography Production. James Trains. Yo, right back at you, buddy. And Jimmy's Trains in the house. Good to have you with us. Good to have you with us.
A lot of names that I have, I don't recognize from my watching. Good to see a lot of you people. We've changed over the how many years now you've been doing this. We've seen a lot of different new names and everything come through all the time. It's really kind of fun.
It's a whole community. guys come, go, they come back, and I get it. You know, it's just a father, a son, and a grandpa, a couple fathers, a couple sons,
Hey,
hanging out in the basement. And
I hope there are a few of you old guys around that are on too that are enjoying this as much as I do. It's you forget how much fun trains are when you have to play with them by yourself and everything like that. And when we go to TCA meets every month, our TCA meets have turned into more railroad social gathering. I mean, I spent 2 hours discussing boxcars with guys that and I'm not a big authority. That we had some of the big authorities on boxcars there the other day, but
Made a book about them.
We kind of let's not invite them in because we don't want to know how wrong we are. And but we getting to socialize. It's fun reading all this stuff like this. They get together, answer questions, and talk about what you like. I know a lot of the names I see there that I've struck up conversations with over the years, and I'm sure I know we had a great time when we went out to York and had the barbecue and all that. Boy, that was. I don't know how busy the guys are going to be this summer, but we all talked about having the same kind of thing either at the Prairie State Railroad or the Illinois Railway Museum.
Right. Yeah, we have to invite everybody out to Chicago. And I know it doesn't have the allure of
a train where you can buy trains.
We have the best railroad museum in the world here in Chicago. You can come out and check that out. And then also, we've got a really, really cool thing out there at Prairie State, the 7.5 gauge. And speaking of that, April, come to York, Phil, for the train show.
Yorkville.
Right. George,
it's going to be on the same weekend.
Get out here. Yes.
It's going to be the same weekend as York, PA.
The Yorkville Trade Show. It's right here in Yorkville. George, you're going to have to talk about that. George is putting together a trade show, a real big event. It's cool.
So I'm putting together a train show in Yorkville. It's going to be a fundraiser. It's going to be a fundraiser for my Eagle project, which I'm building a 7.5 gauge train station at the Prairie State Railroad Club. But that's going to cost a lot of money, and so I thought it would a great fundraiser to then
help offset the cost.
Yes, by making a train show. So I thought, why don't we? I invite a couple of the local layouts out and have a train show. For everybody to enjoy, the community to enjoy, and everybody's invited. So yeah.
So that's going to be cool. So you've got how many? You've got a couple of layouts there, and I think it wasn't part of the plan. You were going to maybe even ask some guys that are on YouTube to come out. Some
maybe
YouTube friends and make a layout on the floor or something.
Depends on the spacing. I was thinking about that last night, and I had a call with one of the guys from the layout, and he said he gave me some dimensions for the layout, and it's huge. So
is it really?
Yeah, it's like 50 by like 25 or something.
You got to be able to get that through the door though, so we might have some issues with that.
Yes, but just
the layout sounds awesome.
Yes, but just thinking of that, the square or the footprint for that, the O scale layout's gonna be even bigger.
Oh my gosh! So you're gonna have 2 huge layouts there.
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah. So but hopefully we'll have some other ones, and it'll be a great time. Yeah.
Cool. Well, James, congratulations on getting that Royal Hudson back. But no, I'm really excited about the train show. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
York, come out to Yorkville train show. Yorkville train show. So when is that, George?
So it's gonna be April 24th. Sunday.
25th, right?
24th.
24th. Okay. 24th.
Yeah. Sunday, April 24th. What?
I'm leaving on that steamboat.
It's all right.
You know how.
Okay. Anyways, let's talk about something else.
Let's see if I can pull it out.
When are you leaving?
On we start on Sunday the 25th. So I gotta be there on Sunday the 25th. That's all right.
So the 25th is
it's
Sunday.
The 24th.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got to be there. So the 24th, I'll help you set up. How's that?
So let me just check on that.
It's the last week, right? Yep.
Yeah, it's the 24th is this Sunday.
Yep. So we leave on the 24th. We have to be out there on the 24th. So that's the morning we leave.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, it is. Anybody out there in Portland? We're going out there steamboating on the American Empress from Portland
I didn't
to.
even think about that. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Maybe if you can check with Tony and see if another day will work.
Okay.
Don't do it. Move it. You made too much problem. But anyway, I can help you set up on the day before. That would give me something to do. Haha.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to take on a 7:00 flight in the morning out there.
Tiny Town T4 says I'd come to a show in York.
Bill. So James.
It's the Yorkville train show. Yeah, no, we're hoping that we can get a lot of people there.
We already fooled somebody.
What's that?
Randall Ellison says,
On
did
your
somebody
way.
say train show?
On your way to York, you should stop and check out the horse.
I know,
we're
that's
talking
where
about.
he's from Altoona there, right there by
We're talking about the Yorkville
Trade
trade
show.
show, not York.
So there's York. York's going on at the same time, and that is on our list of to-dos one time is to go out there to Horseshoe Curve on our way out to York.
So when's York weekend in April?
I don't know.
The
other thing
I'm thinking you had a double conflicting weekend.
I mean,
I know. What are you going to do?
There's probably 2 people going to York from that
your
would
group.
go to the Yorkville trade show.
Yeah, true.
I'm
just thinking the 2 people right here.
Yeah. So let's see. So
Rocket
Apple
Man,
and Orange
I
is
agree.
wondering if your cruise goes up to Columbia.
Yeah, we're going from Portland to Clarkston, over there in Washington, Clarkston. I forget the other one. I've done the cruise before. It's kind of really fun trip, and so we're doing that, and then we fly home they bus you back up from Clarkston up to Spokane. You got to make your way home from Spokane, but so that it's a good trip. We've been trying to make this trip for 3 years. We paid for it 3 years ago, and because of everything, they canceled trips, et cetera, and so this is finally the one we're going to go on unless all hell breaks loose with you know what.
So anyway, just want to get some people welcome here. We've got Migarayo here. He used to be at Boosty, making this the Worldwide Studios. Welcome to the stream. CSX GEET 44AC CW Railroad guys. Welcome. Smash that like button if you would, and if you haven't already, do that if you're already through the stream. I saw one other one that I was rolling through here. Who did I miss? Everybody? Captain of 4 boats. Right there. Chase G up in the house. Good to have you with it. Tiny T4 says when I'm there, will I be able to take in Strasburger?
Oh, okay. Now we're into this Strasburger, and then this is bad. This is really bad.
No, I'm really excited about the train show, though. It should be really good.
Yeah, it should be fun. Looking forward to it.
Apple and Orange, where do you live?
See, it says cruises in my neck of the woods, except there are no woods.
You must live in the middle of Washington.
So LJL wants to know, Dad, if you like the Flying Scotsman.
I don't know much about it, but I'm sure if it's a train, I like it. There are no bad trains.
That's true. All trains are good.
Except for the A4s.
Oh, no.
A4s. What do you got against A4s?
Here you go. Let's hear it, George.
They're like phony. I guess they are official Steam speed record holders. But like, there are trains that could beat it that are operating right now. They just don't. I mean, that's like, in my opinion, like that's like a small and everybody that's a fan of the A4s like rubs it in like the American Rail fans' face. Like that's like the small teeny guy benching a lot But then the big guy just being like, oh yeah, that's cool, and not doing it, but knowing he can do it because he's huge. He probably weighs just as much as the guy's benching, right? But he's like, oh yeah, sweet, that's cool. And then small guy is just in his face the entire time, telling him about how bad he is because he hasn't done that.
I like this.
Or
I
no,
like this
not
analogy,
even done it, but done it while he's seeing it. I guarantee you that they've done it, just not recorded. It wasn't a big deal.
We don't need that.
I saw a comment the other day that said the English may have invented the steam train, but the Americans perfected it.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
Yes. That's where I stand.
Although I bet you there's some Europeans that would argue with you on that.
Oh yeah, they benched a lot. They benched a lot.
George has got a real problem here right now.
LJL's like he likes himself those.
They benched a lot.
So Bob's O-Gauge Train says, hey, I got a new video up on my channel, the MTH RS3 and Army Steam pulling an Army train. Ooh, check that out, everyone. Go over there to Bob's O-Gauge Trains. Check out his channel because that sounds like a really, really cool video.
Has anybody got one of those Russian model railroads pulling tanks next to the Ukraine?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know.
I started looking at pictures of the Russian military train there. It's kind of
scary.
Yeah, kind of scary. Ooh, yeah.
Have you seen those?
No.
They have like this set of cars, right? Mm-hmm. And the tops open up, and they have like this huge missile that just like
it's like a Lionel launching car.
Literally like that. Honest to God, it's like that.
They got the blueprints from Lionel, and they made a launch.
I mean, it's like the missile like comes out and it goes straight up. It's huge. The most like think of like 3 like TTX box cars, right?
Right.
Just think of that. And the missile just comes up, and it's like that long.
It was an ICBM?
Well, yeah,
it's like modern. It's modern.
Yeah.
It seemed at least like the past like 50 years, like Cold War era.
I think it's newer than that, though.
Yeah, probably. I know that they had them in the Cold War, and I know they're not as popular now because of satellite images and stuff like that, because it's easy to. But that was very popular. Even World War II, they even had that stuff too. But I don't think it was as popular. But it was huge because you couldn't find it on the satellite. They had no
way to figure out where it was at.
Yeah, you see a train, and it's it's not the most harmful thing in a train. Is probably pulling ammunition. You know what I mean? Not some huge like atomic missile. But no, I'm serious. It's like scary. And they look like the Lionel missiles too. They got the fins and the different colors, yeah. But yeah, and so I think that the Americans even experimented with it too. But I don't, the one that Grandpa's talking about is like modern, like within like the past maybe 20, 30 years. Like it's pretty weird.
Well, did you ever see the big rail gun that the Germans had during World War II, Anzio Annie? They used to that's what the nickname was.
Yeah.
The flat car had like 20 sets of wheels underneath the thing.
2 tracks?
Yeah. Great big thing.
Dean P, welcome to the stream. Wants to know how many transformers are you using, George?
We're using 4 transformers.
Yes, we are.
1 for the switches, and that's a little like what is that like
I don't know what that's called. It's a modern Lionel.
It's just like one of the starter sets, yeah.
Right. That powers all of the switches across the layout.
And then we got 2 post-war ZWs behind my dad. And then those power the bottom loop of the layout. And then on the top loop, we have a Z4000. Yes.
So, yeah, 3 transformers operate the layout and then 1 for the switches, right?
Correct, yeah.
And actually, we didn't even think about it, but there's 1 more that operates the rotary coal tipper.
If you want to count the bricks, too. You got a brick down there.
When you got the bricks? The power brick?
TIU. They power the TIU.
Yeah, there's a brick down there that's powering the TIU. I've missed a couple people that are rolling through the door, but Gus Hadley, welcome to the stream. BNSF Union Pacific, glad to have you here again. Dean P60, welcome to the stream. And I know that I missed somebody here.
Apple and Orange would like you to talk about your project again.
So yeah, let's loop that back around here. BNSF Union Pacific fan, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. And I'm going to loop back around because George is talking about his his service project for his Eagle Scout rank, and he was talking about the Yorkville train show that he's going to be putting on here in Yorkville. That's going to be coming up. But in addition to that, that's a fundraiser for something else that you're doing. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, George?
So I'm making a 7.5 gauge train station, or a train station for a 7.5 gauge railroad. Yeah, so it's gonna be kind of a pavilion style station. So it's gonna go over the tracks. And if you've ever seen any of our videos of like the 7.5 gauge layouts that we go to, it's gonna be similar to the one on at White Creek. They call it Corner Town. A lot smaller though.
And that where are you going to put that up at, George?
It's gonna be at the Prairie State Railroad in Big Rock, Illinois, and it's gonna be on the eastern end of the railroad. And
where people get on and off the train, is
during
that right?
public days, yeah.
Right.
It's supposed to be a kind of make it look fresh, because I mean it looks nice, but it's it make it more presentable.
Right,
yeah.
Right. That'd be nice, a nice station pavilion. So part of that is fundraising because George priced out the kit and everything like that.
It's like
where are you going to buy that at, George?
Menards.
Uh-oh, there goes the discount. Oh, my God.
Not saving big money anymore there.
Oh, my God.
So, all right. And what do you think it's going to cost you?
Close to about maybe $6,500.
So you got a lot of fundraising to do for that, right?
That's a lot.
So I think that George might be reaching out to some people here in the community, and we might be doing some type of fundraising. So, you can help out George, help out a good cause on that. So, all right. Happy Valley Hobbies, welcome to the stream. Good to have you here.
Hey, PRR Joe, congratulations. Retirement is pretty good. Let me tell you, I've enjoyed my retirement.
PRR Joe, all right. Congratulations on the retirement. That's fantastic. You have to show PRR Joe what you've got up on your N scale layout in your room.
My N scale layout.
You've got the building that you built with him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
PRR
Joe,
congratulations on the retirement. That's great fun. And Ozark Midland, good to have you here. Thanks for coming. Finished your supper. Glad you had a good supper there. Artie Pumpkin in the house. Says hello, everyone. Nice to see 3 generations enjoying time together, and the trains too. What a great way to enjoy.
Absolutely,
time, right?
And it's great for you guys to join us. Thank you for hearing us babble. It's kind of fun.
It's just guys hanging out. Right?
Yeah,
We've got 3 generations hanging out with
I guess if we can't get everybody in the country can't get together any other way, this sure beats not getting together, huh? That's the way it is.
You got it. Hey, welcome all these people. Rose Jewel Railroad, Katrina. Good to have you back after our having you on a couple weeks ago. We sure had fun with all those Heinz cars. You were a great guest. That's for sure. Who else did I see that was up over here? Ozark Midland Southern's another one of our favorite channels, and I think I got Artie Buffkin. That's good. That's good.
Any of you guys down in the Orlando, Florida area? We'll check that out. I'm going to be down there for quite a while, and then Wally and George and family are all coming down the end of March.
Yeah, you're down there from Florida area.
Yeah,
we're going to be in Orlando.
Yep. Anywhere in the area. I even got a vacant lot out down there that's got a lot of alligators on it.
So Apple and Orange says, you're putting together a Yorkville train show as a fundraiser. When? Sorry, I'm making pizza, so I missed the details. The train show is going to be on April 24th. But my dad just said that my mom and dad are going to be out of town. So even though we've got that in place, I don't know. We're going to try and fix it. Fix that. John 2618 says, I'm near Orlando.
Hey, I'll be
We've had pilots meeting up, you remember?
Yeah, John. Yeah. Where are you at? Well, I about anywhere. Yeah, we come down and we'll be staying. Now you're gonna hate this. We take our motorhome, we're leaving tomorrow morning, and we're gonna be at Fort Wilderness Campground there at Disney World till we bring them home on March 26th. So we'll be there. I would love to talk trains and everything like that. Sorry, I don't have a mobile layout in my motorhome.
So, all right, getting back to PRR Joe. George, you're going to have to tell everybody what this is. I love this story. This is the greatest story.
So this is what would you call this? Like a wall, or like a, it's a station, or not a station, apartment building. But I don't know like what style, like what would you call them?
It's a
When you put them up
brownstone.
against
We
the
call those
wall?
brownstone. Oh, it's a facial.
Yeah.
Your facial.
Anyways, I made this with PRR Joe for a new.
Where were you at?
I was at the Pittsburgh National TCA Convention in Pittsburgh in
Train
2017.
Collectors Association,
Yes.
right? We all belong to the Train Collectors Association. Love the Train Collectors Association.
Yes, and they had a kids club event where they were making these, and I'm not sure if they were donated, but somehow
They were donated. And
they're donated by the OGR Form. Actually, OGR Form makes these, I think,
okay.
or O Gauge Railroading, it's called.
Ameritown.
Yeah, and so yeah, so it's really cool. We basically we painted the building with white, and we were supposed to wipe. Yeah, we were supposed to wipe the building off to get the brick in there. So you can see I went very heavy on the concrete, and then on the inside, if you can see it, or we put these like backs on with like styrofoam. I gotta glue these. Mine's kind of falling apart. But then we put stickers on the back, and so I have some trains down here. Got
Look at that
Michael
inside.
Jordan's
Yeah, look at
jersey.
that.
Or LeBron, whoever you want to, and then you got some shoes, basketball shoes, I think. Yeah. Then got baseball glove, got another baseball sticker, and then we got a basketball. It's in a really big basketball phase then. But yeah, so.
So then the cool part is you made those at the TCA convention, and then fast forward, PRR Joe always is coming on our streams and hanging out. And then
we had no clue who that. Then we kind of made the connection that, or it was at York, right? We're like, hey, I know you.
Yeah. And he says that he was at the convention and was helping out with kids club stuff, and
it's where I learned how to do scenery.
Yes, it is.
I think we something happened where super glue got all over my diorama. When we're taking but I use a lot of that stuff now actually. But
some of the stuff you learned there, right?
Yeah, on my end scale lab.
You were probably about 11 years old then, huh?
2017, so that's 5 years ago. So yeah, 11.
What are you flying these days? I have fond memories of Vero Beach when I was a young airline pilot, and not on the high pay scale as yet. I have fond memories of repossessing an airplane off the Vero Beach Airport back in about 1967.
Repossessing airplanes. That sounds kind of fun.
Well, it was an adventure. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I love to hear the story. Grandpa says that one of the airplanes that he helped repossess was a P-51 Mustang.
Oh, we didn't repossess that one. That was
you didn't?
No, that was a delivering a plane that was sold. You know, I got to tell you that this was in 1967 also, and brought a P-51 Mustang back from Arizona to North Carolina via way of Chicago, and that plane only cost the guy $15,000. It was unbelievable. The plane had only 5 hours of flying on it from when it was built. It was still painted silver. It's still silver, no paint on it. The place where the stars on the wings used to be was rubbed out, and the holes in the wing where the machine guns used to be were still there. But it was an adventure. Brought that plane back all the way from Arizona with no radios in it, all the way to North Carolina. I'd call up the tower and tell them we're coming in. We'll be there. It's a P-51 Mustang, and so we put on quite a show.
There's a guy, or what's the P-51 Mustangs that had like the two or not the two cabs, but the two
it's a Lockheed Lightning P-38.
Yeah. So,
but didn't they have a P-82 or something like that was two Mustangs?
They did made it the twin Mustang, they called it. It wasn't very successful.
So there's a guy on the internet, right? I used to follow him, but he kind of came across like my page through YouTube or something like that. But his grandpa or dad or somebody owned a hangar that was full of a bunch of like he never knew what was in it. He didn't even know his dad had this hangar until he died, and he went to go check it out, and he opened up the hangar, and it was in pieces, but they had one of those
really?
He ended up donating it to like an air museum somewhere, but it was really cool. It was just like it was like in a million pieces. It wasn't like the wings were off of it, but you could definitely tell what it was. But yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, John, that's a cool airplane. Do a lot of international flying with that thing. I'll bet that's a really good airplane to fly. Hope you're enjoying your life and it work for a good corporation. I hope that uses the plane right. That's all the fun.
Right on.
Hope of Piper. I like that. Vero Beach. I think I've mentioned to you before. I've got the oldest Piper Aztec in the world, and I've saved it from the junkyard 3 times now.
It's like a old car collector over here.
Yeah, I just can't. Last time when somebody pulled the landing gear up on it, my other son said junk it, and I said I'm not going to do it. She's the oldest of her kind. I can't see her die that way.
Yeah. Hey, Greg's in the house. How you doing, Greg? Congrats to Bob Zogage for having a grandson on the way. Yeah, in July. Going to be have another little guy to play trains. So
cool.
Good stuff to hear.
Hey, Greg, have you put the promontory set up there, running the engines together for people?
Yeah. Let's see. John says he works for a major truck manufacturer.
Oh, okay. Which one?
Hey, Katrina, George mentioned that one of those Heinz flat cars that he has is for you. That's true.
Yeah, the black one.
Car at the Pittsburgh convention that we went to. So we're gonna have to go get that. That's right. So Katrina was looking at those, and he did. He made that. I'd forgotten that fact, and we were talking.
Because Uncle Bill asked me to make one for her.
So yeah. Happy Valley Hobbies. Who's going to Amherst? What is Amherst? I've never been. My good friend Bill, Rocket Man Bill, he always talks about Amherst, and that was one of those that I think would be a fun one to go to. So when is that?
Where is Amherst? Amherst,
Connecticut.
Massachusetts.
Oh.
You were going to say Madagascar, weren't you?
No.
I said Connecticut.
Oh, all right. I thought you said Madagascar.
Is that Amherst, where Amherst University is?
Yeah. So Mom says his daughter kind of likes trains.
Hey.
So, Katrina says, thanks, GFW. That's amazing. Can't wait to add that Steve Hines car. So look at this one. It's here. Get that
Fogging up.
Let me get a close up on that one. It's one of a kind. Says on here, one of a kind, produced by George Worderick for display only.
Oh!
Table and
all of them for display only, and somebody come along and offered him 15 cents for the ketchup in it, right?
Yeah. Everyone always asks us about the ketchup cars when they come to our house. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So Rockman Bill says Amherst is the next best to York. It's in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Springfield, Mass. Yeah. Okay.
All right. There we go. There's a new whistle.
Oh, what do we got? Oh, we got the CNO Mallet.
So where's that whistle? Somebody who heard that whistle the other day. I think it was James. If he's on here, and it says that that's the same whistle that's on the I don't know if he said it was a Commodore Vanderbilt or if it was the same whistle that was on what's the other Hudson that New York Central ran that was
Dreyfus?
The Dreyfus Hudson, yeah.
Really?
I think that's what he said. Only Heinz here in Pittsburgh. Well, that's for sure. We had a good time. And I would imagine if you whipped out something other than a Heinz, or spelled ketchup, CATSUP.
Joe, you live there anywhere near that bridge that went down today? That's really something.
Bridge, huh?
Oh yeah, a big bridge over the river collapsed. Thank God nobody was killed.
Yikes. George always liked it when we went to Pittsburgh. He loved it because he said it was like a roller coaster driving your car.
It was.
So, all right, George, you're over there. We're about ready to get a new train coming around the track. Why don't you tell everybody what the new
I don't know.
train is
I have
coming
no
around the track?
clue. I was just going to go figure that out as I went in there.
What?
I think I'm going to put a big boy on.
This one.
This one right here.
Oh, I was going to take the Challenger off because it's making a weird jerking
Okay.
But
what you running over here?
I'm running.
You can't see it right now, but
I'm running the Lionel TMCC mallet.
Robert Edward, do you think anybody will be there with all the snow?
The one
that's Devotion.
The one that they came out with, they're the first generation mallet. So, yep.
First gen. That's one of our earliest TMCC engines that we bought. I think that's probably about second or third
after
one.
Class A was the first.
Class A was the first one that we bought that ran. But you had a couple of years. I know you had at least the yellow belly first.
Yeah, I got the yellow belly was the first one. What's the second?
Run that one until later.
No, what's the second one I got? I've got two early TMCC engines, and the yellow belly
or the Commodore Vanderbilt.
I have the Commodore Vanderbilt. I haven't even taken the plastic off. I've never even the wrapping is still on the box. I've got that Commodore Vanderbilt that's got the wrong color. I have never opened it.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten in the box.
We need to run it.
We got the stealth baptizing the Challenger, finding out a couple of things didn't work in it.
Right.
I had the Challenger sitting in a display case for 15 years or however long since it was built. George puts it out on the layout on, what was it, New Year's Eve?
Yeah, you didn't even know he was running it, Grandpa. He put it out there.
They think they fooled me.
You guys got to hear this story. This is a great trade story. So for years, Grandpa has had this 3985 in a display case by the layout, and both of his nephews have been begging him to run the 3985. Run the 3985. Run the 3985, Grandpa. And Grandpa didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. So they hatched a plan. So George, you're over there. Why don't you talk a little bit about the plan you hatched?
Well, I didn't have to say this was all my idea, man. I'm taking full credit for this. This was like one of my better ideas I've ever come up with.
Better. Now I got the.
Anyways,
gotta have the train room under lock and key now when he comes over.
So everybody loves that Challenger, but nobody ever sees it run. So I was like, no, the Challenger and the big boy are similar. Grandpa had the big bore out. So what did I do? I switched the two. Grandpa did not have a clue, and until I blew the whistle. And that's what he knew. He's like, wait a minute. It took you a little bit. I saw you look over at the Challenger, and I saw you do a double take out the number, and then you went over to the case and saw the big boy was in your case. And
so he swapped out the big boy for the 3985. And it got so bold that he even gave Grandpa the remote on the.
Yeah, you can run your train now, Grandpa.
Oh, so that was good. What do you think about that one, Grandpa?
Well, it doesn't bother me anymore. It's I probably should run them because they're more fun to run than just look at. To be quite honest, I was thinking that when I was looking at my post-war stuff. It was it really. Some of it you'd really like to run, but you get a scratch in it and you lose the value of it. Some of it, I don't mind running. Another scratch isn't going to make any difference and stuff like that. But it's just part of it. The collecting is fun, just like the running of the trains. But I'm having a lot of fun running, and I got so many. I unfortunately I don't have a lot of places to store engines on the layout. So for me, it's a major operation to change trains and everything because I got to pack them up and put them in storage. If I ever had to make another layout, I'd make it bigger. Of course, that'll never.
Make it bigger. That'll never. Another foot.
But I would have a bigger yard and where I could store engines and more train cars on the track, so I could vary my things. I've only got 4 sidings. Where I can store cars and to put out, and I've got a couple of ways I can store extra engines on the layout because I when I built my layout, command control wasn't in vogue yet, so I've got everything in blocks throughout the whole layout, so I can put an engine in a block and just route the trains around that block that the engines are in. So I can do it if I want to. I can put about 6 engines on the line at the same time when not run into them.
Size layout, so you can run
I
maybe even more. You have some talented engineers running those.
Yeah, the trouble is my engineers
Underpaid and overworked.
Oh, they're a good guy. That's a lot of fun.
They run your trains without you knowing them.
That's all right.
They run the forbidden trains.
We have a lot of fun with them. That's the best part about it, is having everybody enjoy it. So many people have always said to me how lucky I am to have my kids, and I'm going to say Wally's got a brother that he has trains and he likes them, and his son really likes them now. And I've got a daughter out in Utah there, and they're on here, and her and her husband actually like the trains. Maybe someday they'll build one, a little layout for themselves, and they're kind of fun. And
the plan is next year.
So maybe what we'll have to do is we'll have to send the whole Werderick family out there for a couple of weeks and build Greg's train layout.
We were supposed to help him with that when we were out there for spring break, but we got sidetracked with the beautiful Zion.
Well, maybe you go out there for a couple weeks in the summer.
I was thinking I wanted to do that or go for a fall break.
Fall break.
Yeah, go by myself.
Go by himself. A fall break.
A COVID break when there's no COVID, huh?
Nice.
That's what I used to do when I was in school. I tell you, I was a terrible student. You know, I can't claim that I was.
Can't have a double C.
I used to major in state eligibility and keeping from being in detention, and it was just terrible what I did. And I used to joke I took every holiday that you could think of, and I joke around, you know, when the parochial schools had All Saints Day and they took off, I said, well, why can't I take All Saints Day off? Even though I go to a public school, what's that? When the Jewish people would take off for Yom Kippur or something, I said, that sounds like a good holiday. I like that one. I'm not partial to anything.
I'm Baptist today.
Damn public schools in Chicago. We went to school so long. We started the day after Labor Day, and we didn't get out till the last week in June. And our vacations during the year, we had extra 1 day vacation, Thanksgiving. That was the day, Friday of Thanksgiving. We had a week and a half at Christmas and New Year's, and then we had a week in the spring, and that was it. We went to school a lot in the Chicago public schools. That was
like that.
Something else. A fall break. What bone do you want to break? Oh, geez.
Yeah, but Slag Cat, you get the Dad Joke Award for the internet today. Boom.
Greg needs help. Thanks, fellas. Greg, it's easy. Start out and make a few mistakes, and then it's not that hard. Just tell us what you need.
The hardest part is the bench work.
Just tell us what you need.
Yeah. Actually, I think the hardest part is just start.
Yeah. Once you get going, that's exactly
the
it.
hardest part is
once you get.
Remember the struggle that we had to tear down your layout, both you guys' layout, Grandpa and George. We had layouts that we tore down.
Georges.
Before we built both of those guys. And I get it. I'm not blaming them, but both those guys, they were just hanging on to their layouts. There's a video of George on GFW Trains if you ever think about watching it. George is talking about his old train layout, and it seems like he's about ready to cry because it's the last day. I think it's titled "The Last Days of My First Train Layout."
Yeah, they had a really cute little layout. It was so neat. It had a lot of neat operating and switching, and they had all these operating accessories going on it, which really made it nice. Oh, Greg, I know you don't make all kinds of mistakes. You're a pretty smart guy. It's really tragic. I have one friend that tore down the layout, and then it took him 7-8 years before he had beautiful layouts, but it took him 7 or 8 years before he ever got another layout going again. So
who was that?
Mr. Hollick.
Oh yeah.
When he lived in Naperville, there he took down the layout, he moved, and didn't get one out there until he moved out there in Manhattan again with that big layout he had. But I don't know, Steve, if you're on, I keep inviting you to come on the show. Maybe I'll get him on here when I'm down there in Orlando. He's there with us.
Yeah. We still got to get his layout on the show.
Oh, God, yes.
So here's the one. Last Days of the First Train Layout by GFW Trains. I'm post that one up there right now. Go check that out. Mars trains. Good to see you, Corey. Here you're getting ready to go out to Amherst. You're going to have to give us a full rundown on how Amherst is. Yes. And ours, Corey says, who in the eastern half of New England wouldn't go?
I've never really thought Amherst was like a big show. At least
I
thought
think it's
about
like
it.
Milwaukee.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that Amherst.
Except for there's more vendors, I think.
I don't. For some of those that have been over there to Amherst, you have to give us a rundown.
Yeah.
So Milwaukee's a huge show, but a lot of it's different it's a totally different flavor and feel than York.
Oh yeah.
I would say it's probably about half as big, but it's a different flavor and feel. It's mostly people setting up and displaying trains.
Right.
It's kind of going to be the flavor of the York train show.
Yeah.
You're in York.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Milwaukee Train Fest is really a huge display of really, really neat layouts. There's a few small vendors, and there's a couple of Lionel dealers that have some pretty good stuff there. Not used, but almost all new. You don't see any used trains there for very much. But what is neat is seeing all the different modular layouts that are set up, and looking at that. That's and just BSing with all the railroads, and the show's open to the public, so it's a chance for us guys, all of you. One of the big things about the hobby, if you can make a project out of maybe interesting somebody else in trains, one person a year or two people a year.
Talking to the right group with the YouTube and putting the YouTube channel up, and they're doing a really good job of that. Everyone here.
Well, I put that out. I was talking to. I bought something from a fellow out in Maine, and this morning, and I told him to tune in the channel tonight, and I hope he did.
GFW trains. Smash that like button, by the way.
Yep, like it. Be sure you like it.
Yep. We like the like button, don't we, George?
That's right. We love the like button.
Smash it. All right, Devon McKenzie. We've got some guys that are always on here, always regulars, and it's always good to see him. LJL, Randall Ellison. Corey's been around forever. He was actually, I think, one of the first, if not the first guys that we ever had on the live stream as a guest. That was such a fun show. We got to have him back.
He was, other than the 24-hour at the time, he was the longest stream we ever had.
Right.
Because I remember him and I were just talking and talking and talking. It was about the weirdest stuff, too.
Right.
But it was a good stream.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Slagcat's another guy that's been around here for a long time. Sean's trained. Yeah, the room has changed a lot. You go back and look at some of those videos. We're just about done. Well, actually, we are done with all of the track work on the layout. Now it's just running. The fun part is we're running trains to make sure all of the track work is good. Speaking of that,
What did we
few.
Yeah. Bumping something there.
But make sure that all the track work is good and all the trains run on all the different parts of the track. And then we're getting the scenery together. Starting to get some scenery. You can see over my shoulder here. We're starting to put together some of the town over here.
I've got their artists indisposed with me.
yeah, she's working on this stuff when she can and coming out here and do that stuff. Yeah. So, George, while you're over there, why don't you tell everyone what we're running over here? What's running on that top level?
We got the cab forward.
Cab forward. Take a drink.
Cab forward. Is that still your favorite, George?
Yes, it is.
Cab forward. So, I talked with Mr. Weem the other day about our backward cab forward.
Oh, yeah? What'd he say?
He said he's moving that one up to the top of the line.
What about the Dreyfus?
Move it up to the top of the line.
Hey, nice. I want to see that. Of all those ones, that's the engine I've never seen run. The TMCC engine we have that I've never seen run.
Right.
Well, I probably have seen it run, but I was like...
TMCC Dreyfus?
Yeah, that one's a beautiful engine.
I'm surprised you haven't broken the cellophane on that one.
That one looks so good.
We have it. It's all. I mean, I took it out, and it was
run.
Yeah, it didn't run.
Didn't run?
No. But it was weird. It was like, you turn the power on, you try and run it. It would and then it'd just sit there for 15 seconds and just go off full speed. And you couldn't fix
couldn't
it.
control it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I wonder if you haven't opened it up, have you?
What? No. The guy, we just sent it straight to Mr. Wiener.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that means a lot to
Did
me,
he get it
Corey.
fixed?
Thanks for saying that.
Sent it to him 3 years ago.
Thanks.
I haven't got it back.
Oh.
So he's working on
Wayne?
it.
Yes.
He's working on it. But I got to talk to him a little bit about that and getting those squared away.
Yeah. He was feeling, when I talked to him, he was feeling real bad that he hadn't gotten them done for you. So.
No problem. No problem. So Dell Hudson talking about RS Trains. Hey, Corey George needs to run that D&H engine that he got at York this year. So he's done a lot of work on that one. Actually, it's running. It's running well. But George also weathered it, and it looks good. It looks good. There's a story on this D&H engine that George is about ready to bring out. George, you have to tell that story.
You gotta tell it.
All right, so we went and walked into the Silver Hall, I think it was, and walked up to one table, and the guy had some really screaming good deals. And George saw this D&H Hudson, and or not Hudson,
Delaware and Hudson.
Delaware and Hudson
RS3
RS11.
or RS11. That's right.
And I walks up to the guy. He's got $75 on it. George said, I want it. So I offer him 50. So George offers the guy $50, and he's like, okay. So he takes it, and he's like, but it doesn't have a box, or it's got a box, and you got to be really, really careful with the box because it doesn't fit in the box. Oh, don't worry, I'll be careful with it. So he wraps it up, puts it in the box, and I told George that I would carry the box. And I'm carrying it on top of 2 other ones, and I'm really careful with it. We walk down the aisle, and somebody asks me something, and I go to do something, and I tilt just a little bit, and the RS11 slides out of the box
Onto the concrete.
and smashes into smithereens. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? Oh, I felt awful, so awful.
You can see the gap on the cab.
Yeah, right there, huh?
Yeah. But
It's a pretty little engine.
it's nice.
So anyway, it was busted all up, and we tried to put it back together. We put it back together, so it's pretty nice. But George says, you know what I'm going to do? Since it's already got some nicks and scratches from that drop.
Prototypical D&H engine now.
Right.
A lot of dents, a lot of smoke, and a lot of dirt.
It's an Alco one that's got those Alco ones are always dirty.
Gotta find a way to turn this around.
Turn it around.
I want to show the other side. The other side's better. There we go.
George is trying to turn the train around. So what does he do? He goes and turns himself around. I don't believe that.
Yeah. So there it is. And George came back and tried his weathering skills, and I think he did a really, really good job on that.
It's hard to keep it from all the. It's all chalk, so I can't like touch it. Yeah, the light isn't really doing it any favors, but yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, I agree. Delaware and Hudson should have made a Hudson. Wouldn't that have been good?
Yeah. It's,
Well, I bet you the D&H did have a Hudson type engine on there. There's a bunch of you guys are D&H fans, aren't you? Didn't
Corey
they
is.
run some-
Corey
they
is
run-
like the OG.
Corey,
OG.
didn't they run Hudsons on the Delaware and Hudson?
No, they didn't.
You sure?
Yeah.
So, George, this is a good question. You're probably a good person to answer this. Rose Jewelera wants to know how a cab forward works. I mean, the tender is on the wrong end. To be convenient. So how does that work, George?
All right, hold on.
George put that RS11 away, so he's going to come back here and give everybody a rundown on cab forward.
So the cab forward, basically the cab forward was invented by the Southern Pacific Railroads, and the reason why they were invented was the Southern Pacific has really long tunnels on their railroad. And so going through these tunnels and steam engines, the engineers were getting like suffocating. They couldn't breathe in these engines, and they literally had to wear gas masks while they went through the tunnels. There's pictures of engineers wearing gas masks on the Southern Pacific Railroad just because they couldn't breathe when they were going through the tunnels. So what they were doing is they were running the trains through the tunnels backwards, which is very dangerous because you can't see where you're going. And so finally, I forget what happened, but somebody came out with a concept where they took the engine and they put the cab in the front. Basically, it was a cab forward. and they ran them, and they were really early engines. They've been around, or they were around for a very long time with different variations. But the Southern Pacific seemed to be the only railroad to use them. I think there's a couple other railroads in Europe that had them, but not like the big articulated ones that the Southern Pacific had. And they were the AC series, so a lot of their I think they had a couple of Z series cab forwards too, but the AC series was the ones that they were known for. And I think the one I have is an AC 12. Yeah, and so basically how they work is instead of it being coal fired, it's an oil fired steamer, and the oil or the tender holds oil and it feeds it to the boiler or wherever, or the firebox where it needs to get burned. It burns and it just runs like a regular steam engine. The only difference is there's no coal involved. It's all oil. So yeah.
Corey brings up a great point. I'm surprised there weren't more cab forwards because it's
there was no need for them.
Yeah.
There weren't as long as the Southern Pacific was known for having really, really, really long tunnels on Donner Pass. Donner Pass had the longest tunnels.
Okay.
And so I guess it wasn't really a concern for other railroads because their tunnels weren't as long, or they might have been as long, or it might have been, but wasn't enough to justify having engines specially made.
Right.
So you know, and so, but yeah, it's just kind of. So I think I wish there were more. That'd be kind of cool, but I mean, it's kind of something unique to the Southern Pacific, and yeah, I find them so cool because they look so odd. And it looks like they have a face on the front too. If you look at it,
look like a face on the front. George doesn't like the flat ones. He likes
I like the curves, the streamlined looking ones. The flat ones, I wouldn't mind one, but the curved ones are like those. So yeah, that's why the cab forwards.
And they could have the tender in the back because they were oil burners, right?
Yes, and that's why.
You know, I look at always the front of the cab forward, and I always think of the old red streetcars we had in Chicago when I was growing up. The front ends, the cab forward looked like the front end of those old streetcars.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah.
It's like the front end of a streetcar. Too funny. I wonder how the two engineers talk to each other.
They probably just walk around. I don't know.
One guy would just walk over to the other guy and say, "How you doing, Joe?"
Each side of the boiler, it's like a.
Are they on each side of the boiler, or is there a gap in there?
In that one, there does, but that's it might not be the way that they were. You know.
I don't know. I always thought that yeah.
Yeah. So 7 Idea Productions has a great video on Donner Pass. So where's Donner Pass, George?
Ooh, somewhere in the Southern California, in the Southern Pacific.
Yeah, George is just gonna call it Pacific.
It's somewhere on the Southern Pacific.
Well, you can ride
the Western Southern.
You can ride the Amtrak to San Francisco, and you go through there. You go Donner Lake and all that. It's a beautiful ride. I'll bet you right now that with all the snow they've had out there in that area, that's got to be the most beautiful train ride you ever did. My wife and I have always done that in January, but we haven't been able to since the COVID thing.
Yeah.
But Amtrak's running that train through there, so that is an absolutely gorgeous train ride from Emeryville to Denver. It's really, really special.
So yeah, this is the same room that we were in with George's first layout video. This is the room. In fact, right where Grandpa is sitting would have been right in the center of George's old train layout. If you watch that video,
basically the cutout of the new layout is where the old layout was.
Yeah, kind of like the walk around area. It wasn't as big as the cutout, but it was a fun little one. I liked that one. I made it for George. It was small enough where he could we didn't have to get up or stand on anything. You could get to everything. It ran off the CW. Had a lot of switches because George loves switches.
I do love switches.
Yep.
What? Yeah. What was? How old were you?
12 switches on that layout.
How old was 10? At 10, yeah. How old was I when we made that layout?
Gotta have been about 3 or 4.
Really? I remember like you making it vaguely, very vaguely. I remember like going down there and but I never. There's like I don't know. It's just always been there. I couldn't imagine our house without a train layout. But yeah, because I do remember we hooked up. I remember when we hooked up the we had a spot in the layout that didn't get as much power, so we hooked that up.
Right.
I remember that. That was later though, when we were running your first set. It needed a lot of power. That's I remember that because we had a very. And then I remember hooking up the TMCC.
Yeah, I remember hooking up TMCC, and then it was just like, oh, for George.
Yeah, because no more running the TMCC. If you wanted to run TMCC trains, you had to go to Grandpa's house or run it on the high track, and the high track was just a circle. I like my switches, so.
Like switch. George doesn't like running. When George, all right, we've got trains running around this circle here, but George does not like to run his trains in a circle.
If I gotta run my trains in a circle, I might as well just not run them. I'll sit there and talk. But you have a really good collection, a really cool collection of small steam engines, like really small steam engines, and that's what we ran on that layout. Right. It was small steam engines.
That was where Wally. I remember buying the little 040s and the 242s, the Atlantics, and all that. Got that little Southern Pacific one. And
that was my favorite.
The one with the daylight colors.
Yep.
Yeah. And that was a real. I remember you really liked doing those. Now look what them. I don't see anything that's smaller than the Hudson here on this layout.
Right, the Hudson's the small guy on the layout.
Oh, fee-fi, full foam. That would have been the biggest engine that I ran on my old layout.
Right. By far.
But I remember one time we brought the Camelback out, and I forget what happened. I like crashed it, and then it went back in the box, and then never saw it again.
I don't think that's true.
I think something happened. I remember it wasn't. You didn't get mad, but we just put it away. It was just like
done that
something bad happened.
When you were growing up, I tried really hard to make sure that you knew that it wasn't like you could break trains, that they were toys. That if you had trains, I wanted you to appreciate them and not throw them around or anything, but also not feel bad when something happened.
I remember being very scared. That was like one of my scarier
with a Camelback?
Yeah, it's like it started smoking, and then it got put back in the box, and I was like, all right,
You didn't tell him it had a smoke unit in it.
Yeah.
No. I remember it was like something. The sound stopped working. I remember pulling it out. The first time I saw it after that was like 2 years ago when I pulled it out to run on my floor layout. But I run that one at. Oh no! You want to know what it was? One of the marker lights broke on it. That's what it was.
Oh, broken
marker lights. Because
light.
I remember running at Sammy's house. There's a big red marker light on one side, and then the other side of there's nothing. Wow. So it looks really weird. But yeah, that's what it was.
George, Isaiah Hawkins wants to know what's the smallest engine of our fleet. That beep.
Yeah,
the
beep. That last
little
a couple
beep.
Weeks ago.
No.
What's smaller than that?
That little electric one you bought. The Great Northern one?
No.
Oh, but that's a motorized unit. I suppose. Yeah.
Well, the beep's technically like a GP9.
Both of those.
What, you got a rotary?
No. It's a rail bonder.
Oh, okay.
That is steamy. And it works. So, long live the Hudson. The Hudson is this big engine. And we run small ones around here too.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I see that inspection car. Oh!
You didn't see it. George just ran that inspection car head on into the cab forward. I'm not sure what he was thinking. The cab forward was right there, and he was holding it. And he lets it go.
That's cute.
It's really detailed, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Who made that? I got that for $39 at
Lionel.
That's Lionel?
I'm guessing it's an LTI one.
No,
that's more modern than LTI.
Yeah, it is.
Some guy was selling some inspection cars on OGR for $40. They were conventional ones, though.
Oh, yeah, I saw those. He had a bunch of them. They were nice. See you later, Corey. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Good to see you. I hope school is going well. Hey, if we don't talk to you, have a great time at Amherst, okay?
Drive safely now, kiddo.
Donner Pass was a Central Pacific built, George.
Right, all them lucky,
the progeny
lucky Chinese.
Yeah. Yeah. So Heavy Valley says the D&H had 3 gauges in the mid to late 1800s.
I don't know what you did, but there is a little part.
4 foot 3 gauge, 4 foot 8.5 gauge, and 6 foot. I didn't know that. Interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, you did. We watched a video on it.
All right.
That history guy.
Oh, but that was the Southern Railroads, not D&H.
Oh, never mind. Never mind then.
So LGL Rail Yard, Southern Pacific is incorporated in Kentucky, February 17, 1885. The Southern Pacific and Central Pacific are combined under a holding company named the Southern Pacific Company.
Oh, that's pretty
value-added stuff that you get by watching Friends Friday here.
Yeah, right. You get all this information about who owns what. And today, who owns the Southern Pacific?
That would be the Union Pacific.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ozark Midland Southern says, "Long live the
Camelback with a broken marker light." Oh.
Still runs. Nothing's wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I remember that one going away, and I never saw it again.
I don't think that was the reason. Did you figure out where that came off?
Yeah, no, I did.
All right, good. We'll get that back on there. So then LJL with more stuff since 1901, the Union Pacific Railroad acquires control of the Southern Pacific. In the following years, many Southern Pacific operating procedures and equipment purchases follow the patterns established by the Union Pacific.
Wow.
More value added.
LGL, baby.
Yeah. So here's one that I didn't know too. See, look at all this stuff. Aaron Kleebas says, "Did you know that the Sopranos shot a scene at Trainland?" I knew that they featured trains a lot in
Trainland.
The Sopranos.
Where's that?
Where's Trainland?
No. They featured trains a lot.
Oh.
So they're one of the characters, like model trains. So they showed him running model trains, and as part of that storyline.
Where's Trainland though?
Trainland, New York City. It's one of the big.
It's a subsidiary to Train
I'm sure we're
World.
gonna find out here pretty soon.
Right.
No, yeah, it's owned by Train World. It's just not called Train World. It's called Trainland.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, the hobby store. Yeah, Train World had a store in Brooklyn, and they had another one. They had two stores for a while.
Yeah, one of them's Trainland.
So did you show these two and I just missed it? I was on a different world. Our two smallest.
Yes.
He showed us the one running into the cab forward.
So the rail bonder and then the beep here. Those are, I think, our two smallest.
Why do you have this taped?
It's because that's the way it came, and I never took it off.
Mint. Can't take the cellophane off.
Cellophane off. So, all right, LJL is giving us more of education here. It says the Southern Pacific of Mexico, the railroad subsidiary south of the U.S. border, is incorporated. And in 1913, the U.S. Supreme Court of the United States, or the Supreme Court of the United States, orders the Union Pacific to sell all of its stock in the Southern Pacific.
Did them a lot of good, didn't it? They got it all back.
That worked out real well.
1917, the Southern Pacific moves into its new headquarters at San Francisco at 1 Market Street. December 28, 1917, the federal government takes control of the American railroads in preparation of World War I. So Bobby from The Sopranos had the layout. That's what it was.
I mean, there must be something good about The Sopranos.
And Trainland is in Lynbrook.
Didn't they call Lynbrook? Yeah. You know, your uncle was born, Bill Mariani was born in Lynbrook.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
Was he really?
I don't know if he's watching tonight. I tell him to get on this thing.
He says he told me he watches from time to time, takes it all in. So if you hear Uncle Bill, the guy from Lynbrook, New York. So LJL, 1923, the Interstate Commerce Commission allows the Southern Pacific's control of the Central Pacific to continue, ruling that the control is in the public's interest. And then D&H is it's still a company, but it's a paper company. And then Bobby Bacala got whacked at Trainland. I didn't know that. That's where he got killed, was at Trainland.
Oh, well, at least he died among friends with the trains. No,
in a happy place. I'd rather die at a Trainland than die in my home.
That's what I thought. Snuffed out at a train store.
Too much breathing Lionel smoke pellets.
Yeah, how about it?
The Northwestern Pacific. I didn't even know that was a railroad.
Yeah, that's important.
So then 1928, SP purchases the Texas Midland Railroad and leases it to the SP-controlled Texas and New Orleans Railroad. All right. So here's a good question, guys. This one's brought on by Ozark Midland Southern. So what's your take on the Cap 3? Do you guys have any what's your thought about this?
What I think I don't like it.
Why?
Because first of all, you can't run it with the TIU. Second of all, it's all on the Wi-Fi. It's all on Wi-Fi.
Can't with a TIU? Are you
I don't
sure?
think so. I don't think so. I was talking about it with some guys on a Discord group I'm on. We had a whole conversation about it. They said that you might be able to, but they don't have a serial port on the base for it.
Okay.
And they said that you might be able to buy an adapter, but they said they don't even know if that's going to work because it might not even be meant for it.
Right.
Because they have like some new, I guess the serial
USB on it.
Yes, but they don't know if that'll.
Right.
I mean.
Right.
Well, when all else fails, you just hook up your 2 wires to your ZW and take the handle and go back and forth, and the train goes forward. Train goes, push the little knob, and the train goes backwards. And for all us old guys that really don't know nothing about all this TIU and
I think that it's nice that it's going to bring everything under one umbrella. It probably is not something we're going to get right away though, because we don't have too much of the newer Bluetooth stuff, so we don't really have a need.
My question is, our layout right now does everything that thing does,
except for operate
4 digits. But we don't have 9,999 trains,
but
so it's not like
got their app that they're putting everything on, and that's going to be a big thing. Now we do already have the Lionel LCS with the LCS app, which let's just say, I'm trying to be nice here, but let's just say we never use that.
Yeah, but there's a reason why we don't use it. If we got the Cab 3, I wouldn't use that. I'd use this.
Right.
We would still use this.
Right.
In my opinion, it's a waste of $500.
Yeah.
Until there is like a valid reason for me to. I don't like running trains on my phone. Period. I do not like running trains on my phone. I think trains should have their own remotes.
I think they should have a big old stand there, and I keep saying this.
I don't know. I just don't like.
No, I get it. Everyone.
Our layout is set up. Our layout does even more, right? The way we have our layout set up, it does even more than what that offers.
Yeah.
And it says.
Harlan's train says it brings up a very valid point. What if you have 9,999 trains?
I'm not gonna run them all at once.
What if you have a really big layout? What if we're playing
100 by 100?
Well,
centerpiece.
You know what it is. It's kind of a, me being maliciously inclined. It's a way of Lionel to being able to up their prices for their cab controllers, their TM, whatever you want to call it. You got to change the name of it and add something, and then you can get twice the money for it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though. With the new one, it doesn't come with a remote.
Good night, Ken.
Good night, Ken. Thanks for joining us. If you're still around, and I hope you come back again sometime soon. Ken's out, and Otis Tooley from Princeton, West Virginia is here. Good to see you. Yeah, and Apple and Oranges. Good to hear that your channel is growing. Man, I'm telling you, I love your channel. I love all of that content. It's only going to be a matter of time before it explodes. But yeah, remember when you had 11 subs? Now you're up to 48. Stay tuned for the 50th live stream. Nice.
Dang.
Good to see.
But yeah, so I think right now we're in a position where we do not need it. And honestly, and I think that even if you bring everything down and under one umbrella, we already can do that with everything. We can run Legacy, TMCC, conventional, DCS on your phone, and Lionel on your phone.
In Alaska, I think the way that it is, and I'm not an expert by any means, I just have heard from trickle down that the Legacy remote won't be paired to it, but you can use the Legacy remote through it.
Well, even then, sorry for cutting you off. But even then, we have a Cab 2. If I have to buy it, if I'm buying a new base, so I can just pair this existing remote to it, why not just use the Cab 2?
The worst part, you can't ZW with it.
Yeah, right.
ZW.
Now he's getting in the swing of things there.
You can't ZW.
All us old guys, ZW. It's like,
man, this is some great information that LJL is putting out there. Just because I'm not reading LJL, that I don't mean that I'm discounting them about the Southern Pacific. It's really cool. But I get it. Oh, hey, KNR's Custom Models. It's too bad that beta engine isn't working. You tried a new battery in the remote. We did try different batteries from what I understand, I got some feedback, and we've gotten a lot of. I put it up on a couple of forums, or I put it up on Facebook in a couple of groups, and I've gotten a lot of. It's created some discussion. The video has, that's for sure, because people say that all we needed to do was bend the tabs for the remote control. But beyond that, even if we got that to work, and we got that thing out of gauge, and out there on Facebook, people are saying, well, it's it's a good value for the money, and some people are saying, yeah, but it's cheap, and then they're just going back and forth. But it was interesting. Bill brought over, if you haven't seen it, the newest GFW Trains video. My daughter, the Santa Fe Queen, and Bill did this video where they were looking through this new Menards F3. They were unboxing it, and it didn't work. Didn't work from the remote control. It didn't work because it was out of gauge, and it was kind of a shame because they were really. I think Bill was really looking forward to running that. But from what I understand, Bill, that if you bend out those tabs on that remote control, that should make it
maybe work.
Make it maybe work. Big O says Lionel designed the app for big train clubs. It's a great idea for the homeowner that only has the layout upstairs and only running at most probably 4 engines, pulling a consist at any time. Okay. But yeah, by the way, K&R Custom Models, we thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us as always. If you're just rolling through the door here, guys, please smash that like button. I don't think I've said that in about 20 minutes, which is usually
it's a record.
I know. Bill says, yep, new batteries in the remote still didn't turn on. Right. KNR, I'm behind on you guys. You guys have been probably chatting about this for a while. I have a beta 2 and a beta 3 and haven't had a chance to try either. And all of a sudden, we've got all these guys with all of the different Menards ones. I haven't been on, haven't had a chance to get on there in time to get even one. We're kind of like, I got the 1, I've got the 2, the 3.5, the 3, the 9er.
I remember there's a guy that was trying to sell me one the other day, or like about a year ago. He wanted $500 for it.
$500.
It's like
Menards.
For Menards?
No, yeah, just because it was the first
smoking?
run. Yeah, but I'm.
This
they've come out with like three runs of the same engine. You know, I'm okay.
I got a question for all you kind of newer people in the thing. How many collectors are there per se that are going to say, "Oh, I got the first run of Menards engines"?
It's like saying you have like the first Williams, like.
Yeah, right.
Williams engine.
Yeah, right.
And there was actually a certain point to that because honestly, there was no collectability. MTH,
yeah,
is
the perfect example.
And there's no collectability to their first engine, right?
None.
But I mean, that said, there were only 200 produced.
You have their first engine.
Which one? The Amtrak?
Yeah.
No, it's not the first.
They had a set, didn't they?
They had 2 sets before
Dash 8. The Dash 8 was their first engine ever made.
Oh, you're talking MPC or MTH?
MTH.
All right. So I am not an MTH, so I don't know anything about MTH.
Yeah, no, but I'm pretty sure that was the first one they ever came out with.
Everybody's got a ZW at Cloverdale. IZW, George ZW. Is that ZW? Ooh, you got it.
You know, when you think about how long ago that ZW was made and how they've withstood the test of time, don't you wish they made everything electronic as good as that ZW? I'll tell you what.
Maybe that Menards F3.
Well, just anything F3. You know, it's Sid, if you're still on here, you got it right. Be the train fixer, man. You'll never end up with it's like running a funeral home. You're never going to run out of customers with the new stuff. You know, it's not like the old post-war trains where any idiot like myself could fix about anything in it.
Right. 61 likes.
Doing good.
Get that like. Smash it, baby. Smash it. CT Model A. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm glad to have you. Kick back, relax. We're talking some trains. George is really sleepy. Look at that. That's his really sleepy face right there. Yeah, we're wearing him out, Grandpa.
George couldn't sleep through lunch today at school, I guess. Huh?
I was taking a test.
Oh, couldn't sleep through the test either.
Oh, man. I got really mad today because during lunch, the lunch hour is the only time we're allowed to like retake tests and stuff like that. You're not allowed to do it during class. So I went in there, right? I was hungry to begin with. I took the test and I finished. And I'm starving, but I have to go. I had to go to my next class because my my test I took longer than the lunch period, right? The next class, the teacher yelled at me for eating. I was literally about to just get up and leave, man. I was so aggravated because I was so hungry, and I didn't understand what was going on. And I don't know. She's yelling at me for eating, and I was just like about to like pull my hair out. And yeah, man, that really is like.
Tell us how you really feel, George.
Well, I'm not allowed to eat
In
while I'm
class?
taking the test during my lunch period because it's the only time they give you to take the test. And then I get yelled at for eating.
Well, you might have had the answers on the wrappers of the food.
Okay, well then let me eat when I'm not.
All right, so I'm changing the subject here. Looping back
Let's
around.
go
CT
get back
Model
to
A
trains. George likes
says,
trains.
My Menards 2.0 works real fine, but they seem to have collapsed on the quality on the next two batches. But I'll never think of anything for Menards as a collector's item. Just like we were talking about, our stream sometimes a little bit delayed when coming through here. And I kind of tend to think that too. And it's kind of funny that people are asking on eBay and all the different sites a premium for some of those old ones, especially
Most I will pay
Tell me.
$200.
$200.
That's what they sell for.
Right.
So that's what I'll pay.
And used?
What's
used? I'll pay $150.
T4 says the Menards trains are intended to be collectible. They're intended for people who want to have O-gauge trains and keep their right kidney in the process.
Step right there, right?
Tiny train, you're exactly right.
Well, no. Okay, think of it this way, right? Those trains are intended for people to get that have their train that aren't model train enthusiasts. There are people that intended to go into Walmart and be like, oh, hey, I got a set like that at home. Why don't I just buy a car? If you come out with an engine that's got all these problems.
Yeah, you've always said that. George got angry. But no, you've always said that, George, is that when these manufacturers come out with a cheap train and the cheap train's a piece of junk, you're not attracting people.
Right.
You're pushing people.
Right.
Like, for example, we have a friend who him and his son were kind of getting into it, right? But they bought an MTH starter set,
right?
And it was junk. It was absolute crap. Just complete garbage. And he spent.
That was good. Was too complicated.
Yes, and they spent probably close to $1,000 on all the trains that they bought. Wow. They bought a couple of engines and stuff like that, but none of it worked. Right? If you're spending that much money on a model train, I'd expect it to be like flawless. You know what I mean? Like no problems. And they finally had enough of it, and they called my dad up, and they're like, "Hey, we have some trains. Come get them, or the garbage man's gonna have them."
Serious?
Yeah, we couldn't get them to work, and they were starter sets, brand new.
Right.
These are MTH.
Yeah.
When I was selling trains with Bob Schneider years ago, Bob used to be the money man, and he's the negotiator and everything like that. And I'd be the guy that would stand and talk to the people that would come up and be interested in buying a train. And they went, well, I don't want to spend a lot of money. And one of the things I'd always tell them, I says, you're going to buy one of these Lionel trains. Now we're talking, this is in the 1980s. And Lionel had quite a variance between their least expensive stuff and their better trains. And I used to say, buy the better one. It's going to run better. It's going to, the ones that would run good. And I says, you're going to be happier with this. The other one you're not going to be happy with. It doesn't do enough. It isn't dependable enough. And there's absolutely no, the price difference wasn't that much for the quality that they were selling at that time. It's not like, today between the bottom end sets and the top end sets with Lionel, it's just, oh my God, huge amounts of money. But I used to always try and tell people, not because we were going to make any more money on it, because probably weren't, because we could buy the bigger markup from the cheap stuff to the higher stuff from wholesale to retail. But the satisfaction of the person, just like these guys said, that when somebody comes along and buys a product that stinks, you're not going to go back and buy another one. If you can't have any fun with trains because you're fixing them all the time,
Right.
what fun is it?
Well, that's the thing, right? They couldn't even get the engines to run. We couldn't get the engines to run, and so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People,
that's the truth.
we could not get the engines to run until we took them to somebody.
It was an MTH guru that would help us out,
and we couldn't even get it to run at his house until we had to do some like reset on the that you could only do on the DCS remote.
Now in Ross, we don't have an issue with MTH trains. We like MTH trains. We operate a lot of MTH trains here on our layout. In fact, once we learned how to operate those MTH ones that the guy had and gave us,
they're fine.
They're fine.
But
We
I
like
mean,
them.
it's.
But I think the point is that entry level, that entry thing where people are coming in who don't know anything about model trains or toy trains. You got to get that ball rolling somehow at a price point that's not going to get them running through the door. If you say, hey, his engine over here is going to cost you $1,000, they're going to say, nice hobby, we'll see you later. And that's the beauty, I think. That's the beauty of those Menards engines. They're and some of the Lionel starter stuff, the Bluetooth starter stuff. It's just so simple. It's cheap. Boom. Right? As opposed to and the issue that George was kind of saying about the MTH stuff is that these friends of ours went out and bought some MTH starters.
Well, yeah, right. And the thing is, too, the people who are going to be buying the MTH locomotives are the people who have like a loop of track under their Christmas tree, and they're like, hey, this is cool. I even think that the 200 price point's kind of high.
Okay.
I to be totally honest, I think that it's kind of high.
This is an honest question. What do you think the price point would be?
If I was somebody that was getting into model trains and I wanted to get another engine, I'd pay $100.
$100, huh? That's your price point?
Yes, and keep in mind, the Menards engines are they have a lot of cool stuff that involves with them. But I think that if I were somebody that was getting into it, right, the basics, just give me the basics and I'll pay $100.
I guess maybe that's why some of this MPC stuff is starting to become popular again.
It's cheap, simple, yeah, and it's cheap.
You can buy a nice MPC engine for less than $100.
Well, you can buy the MPC stuff for half what they sold for new back in the 80s. Really, it's things like that 8100 Rock Island, the 484.
Right.
I mean, all those ones, the Delaware Lackawanna, the Norfolk and Western, all the Norfolk and Westerns held up a little better in price, but the Mohawk,
right,
even that first scale Hudson hasn't held up in price all that well.
Right.
They don't have
TMCC. They came out with TMCC stuff.
And that first 773 that they came out with, they were charging $900 for that thing. You can buy them all day for $350 now.
Yeah,
and
I guess what I'm saying is like the market that Menards is going at is, and the way that they're presenting this so far is not good.
Yeah.
The people who are buying this are model train collectors, correct?
But the one that's putting out.
Yes, now. But if they're having these problems, you're paying $200 is a lot of money. If you're having these problems that you guys had last night,
right,
you're not going to want to touch a model train ever again.
I've got a little point for you to think about this. Now, Menards is going into this kind of slow, and they're basically the people that have been buying these things are all collectors. Okay,
well, that's because they've been advertising them to collectors.
Well, hear me out, guys. Now, what better group than to send it out if they've got teething problems? If they were to focus these things to somebody that at this point that's a newbie, you're exactly right. They'd never come back. But most of the people that are buying these trains are people that have trains. They want to get the early Menards. So, and I'm thinking, okay, if I'm a Menards, you send it back. We'll gladly give you your money back or whatever.
Right.
But we're finding out, what's wrong with our product?
Right. Production
what is wrong with
yeah. And from my understanding, that's why they've been introducing them as beta models. That's why they call it the beta models. And they've been tweaking it. And that's why they have a 1.0, a 2.0, a 3.0, a 3.5, because they're tweaking things and trying to perfect the process. And they've been selling them to this consumer market that's not the same.
Experienced, yeah.
Not the same. It's like they're putting it out there, but they're not putting it out there at stores at this point. They're putting it out there to
the hardline trained community.
And now to this point where we can't even, we're a hardline. I'd like to buy one, and I haven't been able. They have been snarfed up so quickly. I haven't been able to buy one yet. I haven't been on, and I haven't tried that hard either. But I haven't been on the ball enough where I found out about it, was able to hop on and buy one.
I guess where I'm coming with is the extra features are cool, but you can buy a Williams engine for $100.
Yeah.
A Dash 9, real nice Dash 9 for $100, right?
Yeah.
That's
a brand new one, or is it like one of the train shows?
I think you can buy a new them, or you used to be able to buy them new a couple of years. I don't know. I haven't.
But by the way, keep talking. Do we still have that beep out, or did you put it away? I'm sorry about that. Somebody wanted it, and I forgot who it was. Wanted to see the beep.
Anyways, so basically, if I was getting into model trains, if I had a set and I'd just buy something that looks cool, that's not too fancy, and if I like that, I'd spend more money on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that Menards needs to come out with stuff that's simple, cheap, but like good. You can buy MPC stuff all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for $100 an engine, and it runs fine. It looks cool. It's got all fancy colors, and people like it. You know what I mean? Where if you're having an engine that costs $200 and it's really nice, it's got all these cool features, but it's having problems right out of the box, and it.
Right.
And Bear Creek, you're right. And you got to remember, and Bill was talking about Williams and Bachman got the entry level pretty well things. Let's talk about the big difference with Menards. Menards got a built-in distribution and retail sales thing.
Beautiful.
I mean, to make your own product and put it in your own store and everything, basically Menards as a retailer is a very good retailer. Most of the stuff you buy at Menards is in pretty good shape, good reputation and stuff like that. And I love the Menards low scale buildings. Boy, they are nice, but everything like that. But they have, if they can get it going, they've got the retail network all set up. They don't need to sell to hobby shops, and you don't have the ratcheting up a price, and you control everything.
Well, think of it this way, right? Menards, they have all the Rail King tooling, right? Or most of it.
Right.
If they're able to get starter sets out, people go to Menards to get Christmas trees.
Yeah.
If you go past the model train area, I think everybody that I know knows that train, like when they think of model trains, they think of Christmas tree.
Right.
They think of Christmas, right? If you are able to put a simple set out that's cheap, that people will just buy their Christmas tree and be like, oh, hey, they have like a couple of young kids, let's do this. You know what I mean? I think it shouldn't be about the detail and the cool features. I think you should be aiming for quality and simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can make a good quality engine and sell it for $100.
Perfect example is post-war Lionel.
Well, not even that. I think MPC.
Well, no, I mean post-war Lionel is probably. You take a look at your stuff that comes from 1946 to 1960, mid 1960s, when Lionel started cheapening things down. I mean, that stuff is dependable. I mean, and talk about being fixing it. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to open a Lionel engine and see it where the wire broke or whatever have you, and how simple it is. And Lionel had the right idea. And what they didn't have, that Menards, let's just put it in the Menards thing, is what they didn't have, like Menards, they didn't have Lionel stores. They didn't have giant retail stores. And remember, guys, all the places that Lionel and Flyer and those guys used to sell trains, those guys are all out of business now, except for, I think, the Western Tire Auto Stores used to be a big carrier of Lionel. They're under somebody else's name, but all the big high-class department stores that had the wonderful Lionel layouts and stuff like that, they're all gone. And even when JCPenney tried to, it was kind of funny when they started retailing Lionel trains. I was in the 80s or 90s, and they had them in the catalog, and you tried to buy them. I remember I tried to buy the Bluebird FM. The day they announced it, I called up and tried to order it, and it was out. They didn't have any, because at that time I was trying to collect all the FMs that Lionel made, but I never got that one. So
Bluebird. Is it like, what does it look
It's a
like?
Wabash.
Wabash.
It's a gray and blue.
Pretty.
I think you know.
Yeah, I
You'd
know
know
what
it
you're
right
talking
off the
about,
bat. It's
yeah.
a 606 or something like that number on it. It's a beautiful engine, and I think they've remade it with TMCC and everything.
Yeah, they have the Legacy.
But
Yeah.
the first one, when it came, God, they were getting an obscene price for it at J.C. Penney. And then they had a 464 Hudson, a Gray Ghost or something like that. They call it Atlantic Coastline.
Yeah,
That they said they were getting a god awful. They sell it with a display case, and they get a god awful price for a little 464. That if you went off and bought a 2046, you had the same thing. You get the 2046 for $125. It had a whistling tender and everything, or you go buy the Gray Ghost that had it was pretty in Atlantic coastline, but the whistle didn't sound as good as the old Lionel whistle.
Right.
So it was kind of interesting.
So T4 brought up a great point. He says that, remember, Menards' annual sales is greater than Lionel LLC's entire market capitalization.
Yeah.
They aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So yeah, you got some big money behind that.
Well, Menards can afford race cars. I never saw Lionel at the Indy 500.
Right. And win the Indy 500.
Yeah, win the. John Menard really likes liked his trains. You know,
like this race car. It's my kind of guy.
Yeah, Menards is kind
Still
of
likes this race
at our airport. Menards runs a jet airplane and bringing people all the time up from their headquarters up by La Crosse, Wisconsin. They come down to our airport where our business is at, and they run that plane down there a couple times a week, and they go all over the country bringing their people up to their headquarters there in La Crosse. I've never been up to see it, but I'll bet you it's really something.
Yeah, I bet.
They put on a train show out there too.
Yeah, he does.
We never have gone, but the last one I think we wanted to go, but that was right when COVID hit. If I remember,
no, we went to New Orleans.
Oh, it was New Orleans.
That was all right. I'll take New Orleans.
I would too. Yeah, but yeah. No, that was I remember because it was supposed to be pretty big.
I'd say give them a chance. You know,
I definitely. I'm not writing them off, but that was. I mean, what you saw in that video that was true. That was something they got it out, and they're just like, oh crap.
But that's the kind of stuff they need, right? Well, you have people reviewing this engine and giving them positive feedback. Yeah, it's good, but they need to see reviews like that.
Right. And that wasn't staged. It wasn't us saying, Menards stinks. It was just like us getting out.
We love Menards. We bought all the wood for the layout from Menards, right?
We saved big money.
Oh no, we would save big money on the race team, Menards.
Come on. But we're big. We like Menards. We shop there all the time. But
get our Sprecher's root beer from Menards.
Sprecher's root beer.
Oh jeez. Oh. Yeah, goodbye, Slag Cat. Have a good one.
Good night, Slag Cat. Good to have you here, and welcome, Chris Trains and Things. Hey, good to have you here. So we're rocking and rolling tonight, talking about trains.
George, this Menard things is really a good topic. I mean, I think if everybody kind of agrees, this kind of interesting viewpoints on what are they going to do as far as with the trains, the fact that they have the marketing ability, this could be a real boon for trains because they the more people get in the hobby, the better it is for all of us.
Right. And I think it's really cool to go into Menards stores around here and go into a section where they've got trains. And I get it. Yeah, the trains aren't scale. They're not exactly top of the line stuff.
But I can't go into Target and find Lionel trains.
Right. You can't.
And I would say we go to Menards.
The last time I ever bought a train at a retail store that wasn't Menards was at a Toys R Us, and it was a cheap Bachmann starter set, and I never saw one ever again.
Really?
Yes.
That was it.
Teton Tito bought it for me.
And that's the only time you ever bought it at a retail store?
That's the only time I've ever seen a genuine model train at a retail store.
Well, you remember back in the old days, Kmart used to sell Lionel trains back in the when I got the first train for you and Bobby.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about now. I've never in my lifetime, I've never seen that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they aren't exactly. They're not loss leaders, and there is the perception is it's a very limited market, and we as we as trained people got to impress upon them, and it's not that limited. You got say what you want about that Menards that engine, and okay, let's give them credit, but how their buildings are just outstanding. If I were building a new layout, I'd go strictly with that Menard product. It is so good, so available, so innovative. The only thing I would wish about those is that they included the little transformer that goes with the lighting, and you didn't have to buy a different one of them for every unit. And, with the Department 56, they used to include those little transformers for all the operating stuff with it. But Department 56, again, was pretty high price. It really looks great, but this Menard stuff with all the animation to it is all just out of this world as far as quality goes and looks. It's unbelievable. There's a man, Bear Creek, he likes the 11% rebate. We all do.
Yeah, but
Jerry Satterley, he's from DCA, isn't he?
No, he's always on. That's how you know Jerry.
Oh,
he's been on since the very first live stream.
I remember the name there. Yeah,
very first Wally and George live stream. Gotta say that. I did a couple. I did a couple of back in the OG, or not the OG, but the before Wally phase.
So yeah. So Tiny T4 says that
he's right. He's right. Yeah, I looked there too. I agree with you.
Right.
They didn't have nearly as many trains in there as they usually do at the Menards by us here.
Right. So Alaska 3 Railroad says that people have to understand what beta means, that it's a test bed for future plans. Yep, and I get that. But at the same time, we'll see. I'm curious. Honestly, I'm curious to see when that wasn't mine. It was Bill's. When Bill takes it back, how they're going to approach that. If they're going to say, okay, so sorry, and here's your money back, or are they going to say, oh, so sorry, you're next in line for the next batch of trains, or we'll replace it. And I think that means as much as anything else, because I think Bill wants the train. He wants it. It's not
people buy trains not because they want to turn them back or don't want them. They want the trains, and most people, you buy one, hey, I'll give you here. This one works. I'll give it. I'll replace it. I'm sure Menards will, either give you your money back or okay, the next one that comes out, we'll give you one, depending on your choice. I don't think legally you have or ethically you have a problem with that. Just like everybody's finding out that it books the steamship cruises and airplane tickets and everything during COVID, you're better off taking your money and then coming back another time, because you say, okay, they give you a voucher for their own product, and then you go to use the voucher or something, and the price for the same trip you were taking is higher when you could have said, and then they come up with a deal later where if you had taken the money, you could have done it and had money left over. So I would bet they'll just give refunds and do it that way.
So Bear Creek says that he saw Lionel starter set at a Maya retail store a couple years ago, although I haven't seen anything in a retail store recently.
They used to sell them at Menards. I remember when I was little, they had them at Menards too.
I do remember that too. You used to want to go to Menards just for that.
We wouldn't even buy them.
I went to a Menards store and there was absolutely no train stuff. The one in Hanover Park. I went over there because I was looking to buy you guys a building or something like that, and they had absolutely
they're normally upstairs.
Yeah,
in Hanover Park. Is there an upstairs?
There's an upstairs in every single Menards.
We didn't even know there was upstairs, but we found the upstairs, and that's where the train was.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so you have to look for that.
Yeah,
I normally don't. I shop at the one over on 64 most of the time where I stop. So, but I just happened to be over there, and this was Christmas Eve, I think. One of my last flurries.
Right. No, and I think that to that point, I think that Menards might be the right company at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
With MTH stopping a lot of their production, and take a look at the prices in the latest catalog. Tell me if there isn't competition, what do you think is going to happen? I think so. Right.
I mean, somebody's got to come up with, when you have to 2 weeks pay to buy a train. That's pretty stiff.
This is our plan. You want to know how we're going to get the train prices now? No buying trains mandate.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
You want to know? No, you want to know why all the prices are up? The stupid eBay resellers. I'm telling you, that's why it is. That's what it is.
eBay resellers.
People, yes.
All right, let's hear it, George.
Oh, this is a new theory here.
K-Line Hudson.
Okay, K-Line Hudson.
Right behind us.
Right behind us. You used to be able to buy them for $400, right?
Right.
Some eBay resellers putting it up for $1,200 and somebody's buying it.
Did it actually get sold for $1,200?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. That's the problem. People are stupid enough to buy that at that price.
Call me stupid.
You bought yours for $400. And then people are like, oh, wait, this one. And then you can go. That's the other thing. You can look at how much they sold for. So people are like, oh, well, this sold for $1,200. I'll just post it. And people keep buying it. The prices keep going up and up. If you look at every single Lionel catalog in the past 10 years, the prices keep going up.
Well, yeah.
And it's because of their eBay resellers. I'm telling you, man. That's it. You go to train shows, you're still able to find good deals on stuff. But it's the eBay resellers.
Well, if people buy, well, think about what an eBay reseller is, okay? An eBay reseller is a guy that goes out. Right now, most Lionel dealers are giving you a 10% discount on the list price of the trains. Let's face it, that with the new stuff, whether it's Charlie Rowe, Grzybowski, Train World, Mr. Muffin, they're all giving you about 9 to 10% off if you buy now or before it comes out, off the list price when you order it. So, okay, there are people that don't follow stuff like that. So if you want to think about it, you pre-order. I don't know what the markup on those trains used to be. The markup when I was selling them, there was about a 40% markup between what the retail price and what you paid for it. So there was a lot of wiggle room. That's why you had all the haggling around at the train shows. But within only if they're given 10% without even talking about it, you have the guys are buying. Okay, I'm going to buy it 10%. Wait till it's been out for a while, and I'm going to put it out at a 10% plus retail because you can't get it anymore. That's the big thing with limited production. You know.
Yes, but Mile High Rail said the eBay sellers all. I mean, they can put it up for however much they want, right? But it's if people aren't buying it, then they're going to pull the prices down. But if somebody's spending $1,200 on something they shouldn't spend $1,200 for, that's the problem. It's the people buying the trains. They spend way too much money.
Was our friend that bought all that MTH stuff a train buyer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
People that are buying trains now. I have actually heard in this crowd that I am sitting with that saying, well, I might have paid too much for that train. What train person hasn't, that buys used or whatever, hasn't thought of that sometimes? You buy a train, you get it home, and it doesn't work so good because you thought it was a good deal, but a good deal that doesn't work is not such a good deal. And
yes, but I'm not.
Let me counterpoint you, George. Let me counterpoint you, right? An auction measure of the market, because at an auction you don't have to pay the price they're asking for. You actually bid against others and it goes up. That is the true market. An auction, you cannot find a truer marketplace better than an auction. If they price it for a price point that people don't want, they won't buy it. If you start an auction low, the auction will rise to the level of what the people want to pay for it.
Right. Yes.
So that's a true market. Let me finish my thought. So I'm saying that if somebody pays $1,200 for that Hudson, that there is a market for $1,200 Hudsons. That's why Lionel is selling their Hudsons for $1,200.
Well, yes, but think of it this way, right? Hot water auction. Perfect example of this. Tim Fron, a friend of ours, bought a third rail FEF for $500.
But
$500. So third rail FEF for $500.
But
you cannot buy that train for $3,000 now.
But how many people buy? He may have bought it at that time. Everything is a time and a place.
And T4 makes it. I agree with T4. I'm on the same page as him. It makes sense. It's just like with cars right now, George. The reason why used stuff is going up and skyrocketing is because of the price of the new stuff.
Yeah.
So if you can buy a TMCC Hudson, right, new from Lionel, and it costs $1,000, the market for the K-Line one is going to be $400. But if you can't sniff a new Hudson for any less than $1,600, all of a sudden $1,200
doesn't look so bad.
Doesn't look so bad, and it's the same price differential, $1,000 to $400. Well, not the same, but
I mean, the idea being is that it's what the market seeks itself. Not to get political and stuff like that, but with right now, with all the money running around in the country, prices are going up. People have the money to spend, and the products aren't out. You think about it. If you want a train right now, you got to pay whatever they're asking for. You can't. There's not enough competition because there's not enough product. Everything is pretty much all sold out by the time it hits the market.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Why didn't we buy anything to the new catalog? And I can tell you exactly why. Because $3,000, that was my York budget for one steam engine. Like it wasn't even. It's not even a articulated engine.
That's my point exactly. Right? You have $3,000, and you're saying I'm not going to buy that out of the catalog. So what are you going to buy?
Used stuff.
All right. So you think that you're the only one with that thought
process?
No,
but
all right. So follow me through. So then everybody's looking at the catalog and saying, okay, I'm going to buy a used train. And before, you were the only person that you thought that this was your great idea, because you were going to turn around and buy a used train. Now you've got 20 people that are going to buy that same used train.
Yes. But this is a perfect example, right?
Uh-oh. What? This is a box, everybody.
This is a pair of Legacy E7s, right?
Right.
People spend close to maybe like $1,000 on those, and I spent $350 on that.
When did you buy them?
York.
Okay.
That's what you should be looking for, deals. You shouldn't be spending.
Well, wait a minute.
$1,200.
George, you forget. Not everybody gets to go to York.
Well, but there are train shows out there. You can just look. It's not that hard to find good deals.
When's the last time you saw a deal like that at a Midwest show?
I bought that boxcar, the post-war one.
A box. That's not a.
And the Berkshire.
That's not $1,000. That $999, I think, is that. $999 for $300. And you know why you got that deal in the boxcar? Because the guy likes you. He wouldn't sell it to me for that price.
So, all right. I want to loop this back around. So Bronx Slot Car says, hello, can you tell me what by the way, welcome to the stream, Bronx Slot Car. Thanks a lot for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Says, what do you think the average age of who is buying trains, George? You have a different perspective. You're a 16-year-old buying trains. You're probably one of about 25 in the entire country.
Yes.
So what is the average age of people buying trains?
50 to 60 years old, I'd say. Maybe older.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got to think of that spin on things too.
But yeah.
And I'm not discounting your point. But I think there's room for both points, because I think that if people that are your age are going to start getting into the hobby, there needs to be a gateway drug. Yeah. And that's something that
Menards is looking at. Yes. Menards is looking at, and let's all give them a credit and give them a shot. Mile High Rail. Yeah, I agree with you. And not all your stuff you get at York is a super bargain. You buy a thing that is a bargain, and it finds out, oops, it doesn't quite work the way it's supposed to. Well, you bought a bargain, and if you got to spend $150 to make that bargain work right, it's not such a bargain anymore. But the buyer beware is what it amounts to. Well, there was an old saying in Crane Clyde when you say, the train didn't work when you take it back. Well, it worked when I had it. What do you do? And everything.
So I gotta go back. I exaggerate about.
Hey Nate, I'm glad you're one of the 25.
No, I'm glad, and that's been the cool part of YouTube. Just like Rose Jewel Railroad says, that YouTube has brought these guys out, and I love that. I love the fact that we're part of that. I love the fact that GFW Trains is a part of that synergy.
Well, you know what's really funny is when we had the get together there at York, and we had a lot of younger people showing up, and these old guys that are the president of the TCA, TCA is a bunch of crotchety old men. That's what it's always been labeled at. You know, back TCA when Wally was, they wouldn't even let Wally in the meets till he was 13 years old. That was what a bunch of idiots were there. Don't let the kids in; they'll touch the things. You know, like how do you expect to ever have these guys interested in trains? You know, and this, like Wally said, this program that he's had, everybody thinks it's great, and we had these younger guys. They're coming to meet us at York, and it was just absolutely wonderful. And these bozos that run, the old guys, people my age, they still can't get over this idea. They wonder why don't people come to the meets? I says, because you chased them away when they were 20 or 13. You know, it's sad.
Now we're 50 and we've got kids.
Yeah. You know, everybody says how lucky I am that, you know, let's face it, all the old guys there's such a flood of old trains, old Lionel trains, stuff that were so hard to find when I was trying to buy trains. You can buy anything you want now.
From
anything.
The train collectors.
Yeah, from the collectors. The collectors are selling off these big, beautiful collections.
Oh my gosh, yeah, look at Stout and the stuff that they're selling at the Stout auctions.
Oh my God, you know, you go on the auction and you never could find these things. You could go to York. I'll tell you what, the first times I went to York, you couldn't find a 773 Hudson to buy. A Hudson. You couldn't find one to buy in all of York. And there were twice as many people at York then as there are now. And there wasn't one 773 that I could find in the whole thing when I wanted to buy one. Finally, I found one. I made the guy, I remember the guy wanted $675 for the engine at that time, and he had 3 Kramer repainted Madison cars. And I offered him $600 at York, and he wouldn't take it. So it was 5 months later, the guy called me up from Florida, and he says, do you still want that engine for $600? And you pay the postage. Well, I ended up paying another $40 postage to get it. The same train I could have had if he'd sold it for me at $600 at York 4 months ago. But anyway, and that was how I got my first scale Hudson. And I always wanted one so bad, you know. And now they're everywhere. They're all the nice stuff. And if you don't want that one, buy a new one. You can get the non-TMCC Hudsons for, you know, $500, $400, and they're nicer than the old 773s are.
Right. I have to agree with Bear Creek that there does seem to be a lot more O scale modelers in the hobby more than 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I think is cool is I think that they're finally able to coalesce right now. And it's been through YouTube that they're able to coalesce. Right. And that's what I like. They're able to watch each other and communicate with each other. And then they're able to wrap that around in other platforms that are electronic platforms that are out there. But that is the cool part of that. And I'm so glad that we can, that GFW Trains has been a part of that George has been a part of that. George has sucked me into it. And I've kept that ball rolling. That means a lot to me. It really does. And that's where I always go out there and I say my speech and you guys all laugh at me. But I truly mean that speech. That speech, guys, that speech, while I mean it and I mean it wholeheartedly, it's not for me. It's for everyone. It's for the hobby. It's for my son, you know, and I want him to love this.
See,
so Annette asked a question, really dumb question here, but do you think this first gen train? Not sure. I mean, Annette, ask that question again if you would. I don't understand.
A little more specific.
So, so Randall says that's right, guys. Companies like Menards, Scale Trains, Exact Rail, and others are trying to inject youth into the hobby because young people are going to be the key players of survival model trains.
Okay,
for sure.
Yes. But Menards, the difference between Menards and Scale Trains is Menards' prices are a lot better than Scale Trains. Scale Trains, you're spending $500 on a HO scale engine that has rivet counter on the box. And it's like, yeah, you're trying to get youth in the hobby, but your prices are ridiculously high. No 16-year-old is going to have. I bet you there are very few 16-year-olds that are going to be like, oh, I have $500 laying around, and I'll just buy one engine. If I had $500, I would want to buy like a whole train, like you know, like cars, engines. You know what I mean?
Right. Affordable fun, not scale perfection.
Apple and Orange. I have the both the 1950 773 and the 1964 773 Wally's, and Wally's got a 75 or a 65 773. He's got a couple of them, and like I say, I've got my 1950 one is a beauty, but the 64 one was the only one I could find. You couldn't find, when I was talking about, you couldn't find a 1950 Hudson to save your soul at York, not a chance. The closest thing I found a 763 gray Hudson with a tank tender, 1939, 38 variety, 37 variety, with the boiler was blooming, and I had had zinc rot. And a friend of mine I was relatively new into collecting, and he says, George, you don't want that engine; it's going to fall apart. And that's that was how things were. Now you can, as I say, you can find all that stuff. Just look around on eBay, Oscale Railroad, all the things all these neat trains that you couldn't find. I collected 64 boxcars was my big thing when I first started. That was what I wanted, to try and get all the 64s. And you could not find a 64 100, the orange with the blue feather. You couldn't find one of those to save your soul. And Wally and I took a trip up to look at a collection in Michigan one day. We walked in the layout, and sitting over on a siding was a 64 100. Well, I bought the whole collection to get that one lousy car. That's how bad,
You paid as much for. You paid about as
much
as the car was worth for the collection.
Yeah, at that time, I don't think the car's worth as much now as it was then, but it's still worth a lot of money. But I had an amount I wouldn't go over for buying some of those cars. But most of them I couldn't find. My most expensive and best cars, my wife bought me. She'd come to the meets, and that was the thing. So
Rockman is Detroit. He says all of these young guys get in the hobby now. They were running train races at Train Fest and all of the other meets we set them up at.
Yeah.
That way, Bill. We did it. You did it.
Yep.
You did it.
Yep.
Welcome to the stream, Trainman 1993. We've been talking a lot about Menards and everything like that. And getting back to my sister, just because I got to get to my sister. She says, whoops, wanted to know if the Menards train will be a collector's item, even as is, like the girls' train. Wasn't that unpopular at first, or a misprint stamp? Dad, what do you think?
I don't think Menards is in the same. These Menards will be a collector's thing like the girls. The girls' train was, in the heyday of Lionel, it was not popular back then. But as Lionel, scaled down their operation, let's see, I think the girls' train was a 1957 thing. Lionel only lasted 12 years in its original form after that train went out. And in 1969, you could buy a girls' train for $25. It never gained popularity until all of a sudden Lionel's out of business, not making trains anymore to speak of. And the stuff that was coming out wasn't even beginning to be comparable to post-war trains. And yes, the girls' train is scarce, but and it was such a novelty in the thing. Now, the perfect example is this. Lionel, the new Lionel, has made several variations of the girls' train since then. And all of those have shot up in price over what, some of the MPC, no goodies in it. I bought a set for Wally's mother, and it's still wrapped. And that set now, and this has no whiz bangs or anything in it. That set sells for 2.5, 3 times what I paid for it brand new. And that's probably the only MPC thing without TMCC in it that I've got that is worth more than what I paid for it.
Which I put bricks in.
No, it's still got the cellophane around it.
Oh,
it's still got the wrap.
I took a hairdryer and
So
melted it together.
Brian Slarkar says, what sites are you guys talking about that you're buying on? He's never heard of. So we tend to buy a lot of our trains. We buy them on, there's a O-Gauge Model Railroad or OGR forum. We do buy a lot on that one.
That's a really good source for just like model.
Yeah, and it's everything. That's a really good community of train folks there. we buy a lot. We buy most of our trains, I would say, though, at train shows. We're members of the Train Collectors Association. We love the Train Collectors Association. It's a great group of guys
Let's see. There's my
great group of guys that like trains, and where we're at, we do a lot more stuff beyond trains. I've met some of my best friends there at the Train Collectors Association. And anyway, they've got regional meets around the country, regional spots they call divisions. But if you're interested in the Train Collectors Association, there's a link down below to the National Train Collectors Association website, as well as the Midwest Division website if you live around the Chicagoland area. We live in the Chicagoland area, and the division that we belong to is the Midwest Division. So, that's where we generally get a lot of ours, is at the trade shows.
Right, and then you can look at some of the auctions, but you got to be aware with the auctions. You really.
Oh, that's right. So Stout was another one.
There's several.
Stout auctions.
That one guy, there's another one, Harris Auctions. I saw that, and I was looking at stuff, and then I lost the site, and I couldn't get it back for some reason. I don't know why, but I was looking at that, and it was kind of interesting. I've never seen them before, and they had some really nice trains. They're a West Coast operation, and you generally don't get many auction things out of the West Coast, although there's some wonderful, wonderful collections out there in California. But
all the rich people live.
Well, that's where the people, not all the rich people, there are people there that are just happen to be there, moved into California before all the rich people came, so they still have they got property that's worth it.
Yeah,
they got a neat thing.
They got rich off their property. Right?
Well, they got a neat thing.
Land rich.
They got a neat thing in California. If you owned property back, they passed a proposition why the state almost went broke. They passed a proposition that if you had this property before a certain date, that your real estate tax couldn't go up.
Really?
Yeah, and because things were happening with price of, and if there's any Californians on here, you can correct me on this, but I know my uncle that lived just outside of San Diego, he bought a house, and he says you can't move because your taxes on the house like this are so low. Yet the house is valued so high, but the trouble is when you sell it, you've either got to move out of California to Montana or someplace like that because you can't afford to buy anything in California.
I think you get a nerve with Chris Lambert. He's not that shit, and it was called Prop 134.
Yeah.
Prop 13.
Yeah, Prop 1. You guys see, for a guy not from California, I got a pretty good knowledge of that stuff, huh?
All right, so looping this back around, Trainman 1993 says, "Do any of you guys collect Lionel MPC stuff?" In fact, I love Lionel MPC stuff.
I got a ton of it,
and Grandpa's got a ton of it, and that's the stuff that that was kind of big in my collection. And talk about reasonable price trains. That's the
market right now.
Right now, the reasonable price trains. And wait till you see. I'd be interested to see whether that market goes up.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, those $400 engines you can't get $200 for.
In Bronx Slot Car, yes, that's a website that you go to, but the Train Collectors Association's an actual physical organization with a museum and divisions and people that meet around the country. There's a website down below, traincollectors.org. Look in the information. It's down there. So, yeah. So,
are you a Bronx Slot Car? Are you a New Yorker? You got the Metka division there. The president of the TCA is in Metka right now.
Right. So Alaska 3 Railroad says, I'm wondering if train sales will go up on Friday and Saturday nights when people are off work, enjoying adult beverage and online. Not that I've ever done anything like that. Me neither. There's been a couple of times where something's ended up at the door. Although the one thing that I have got to say, nothing has ever ended up at the door that I forgot that I bought because I was having a couple of iced teas.
That's not true. Technically not our door.
Yeah.
Crossed Anchors.
Oh, that's true. I got drunk one time and I ended up sending something to Cross Anchors and I forgot about that. That's right. True story.
Maybe you should get drunk more often and we can look at auctions together.
Right.
Oh, no.
So in fact, yeah, Apple and Oranges line says I do a little bit of every Lionel era post where you name it. Trainman says that, but Apple and Oranges, that's his sweet spot too, is the MPC. And he's got a lot of neat videos on his YouTube channel over there about MPC trains. So I love Lionel, MPC2.
Old Man Weaver.
Old K-Line, Old Williams, and Old Man Weaver.
Old Man Weaver.
Well,
Good stuff.
Well, you guys got a couple of nice Weaver engines and stuff like that. We've had they made some really nice things. Even Williams, the last Williams stuff was pretty good. The early Williams stuff wasn't real good. We've got some Williams.
Either was the early K-line stuff.
Yeah, early K-line was just cheap.
Yeah.
But you bought it. I'll tell you, you bought it wholesale for $4 and you sold it retail for $8, and people thought they were doing anything. But you're making when Schneider before Bob died, he bought a ton of K-line stuff because he could make 100% on his money, and he could sell to everybody. That's merchandising. When you can buy for $4 and sell for $8, it's better than buying for $200 and selling it for $275.
Yeah. So, but you're gonna be right back. You got it, Dave. you got it. So Cloverdale, mine and O-Scale Monterey Road says I just bought the MPC General set. Now that's a good one.
That's a good one.
You got one right down here.
I don't have the set. I got the engine.
You got the engine. You bought the MPC. You bought the extra cars. Came separate from the original MPC. The Western Atlantic engine. That's the first one, the 8701. I think that's a really good one.
So, all right, this is a good question for people that are around. They may know. If people who aren't around, they may not know. Want to know our first sets, and I'll start because I actually saw my first set on your channel the other day. You did a review it, and it was one of your first sets. Mine was the Lionel MPC Amtrak Lakeshore Limited set, the Alco set with the passenger cars. You've got that set. That was my first set that I got. George, what was yours?
Ooh, my first set. I got a first train. I always tell everybody my first train. That was blue. Post-war 2046. No.
No.
Come on.
624.
624.
Oh, you had a set you got.
And
I know you did.
That was a Thomas one.
Thomas.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
I
that
don't
was
really
your first
remember
set
my first set, but I think it was.
No, that was the Thomas set. That was your first set. The Thomas.
But I had like
Thomas
trains set before that.
Right.
That was just the first one.
Right, a set.
Had,
You had a ton of trains before that. Like
just
like you got a post-war train as your first train.
Yeah. My first set was a 1666 Prairie with a Sunoco 2466. I think it is the tender on it, and it's got a Sunoco tank car, a black gondola, and a little red caboose. It was made in some of the pieces were made in the pre-war, but they have post-war couplers, and the engine was a pre-war engine with a post-war tender. And I got that one, I think it was 3 years old, 1946.
Yeah. I believe that train set that I came out with it was out in 1974. That's when they produced it, but I don't think I got it until 1977.
I bought it
76 or 77.
I bought it
You
brand
didn't
new.
buy it.
Yeah, no.
Santa brought it. Santa got it. What's Santa?
I cannot.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was Santa got it for me.
Well, I bought the extra cars, I think.
Bought the rare B unit.
The very rare B unit. Right.
Oh, good old Santa. I can't take credit for anything anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, Santa.
Well, T4, thanks for joining us tonight. And I think that we're getting close to the end of the stream too. We've been on for 3 hours, but it's been such
this has been a great show.
That we haven't even realized that it's been going that long. So I like you, General, huh, George?
Yep. Oh, I just put it away.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. 1996 Lionel Lines X 1110 steam set.
What engine is that?
1101.
So yeah. So we're all yawning here, guys. So we'll start buttoning up. We're about ready to hit the 3 hour mark. It was one of the most fun streams, I think. And thank you, George.
Yep.
GFW Trains. Thank you, Grandpa.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to talk with all you guys.
Everybody here, I have to tell you, this is the coolest community. I really enjoy the input. I really enjoy hanging out with you. And I know that many of us have never met face to face, but this group, all of you guys really bring warmth to my heart. And it's really nice that it brings my family together. It brings my son and myself together. It brings my grandpa and I together all three of us just having fun with trains and having fun with you guys. So, yeah, can't tell you guys how much that we appreciate it, how much that we like that. And guys, please keep this synergy up because, you know, we've got tonight we had good talk, good debate about trains, bringing young people into trains, and we've got 3 unique perspectives on stuff, you know, with trains. We had George's perspective on the Menards stuff and how that all looks, and from his viewpoint, mine and my dad's, 3 different viewpoints. So it was really
maybe somebody from Menards was watching, because that's kind of important. This is the guy that's going to be buying this stuff here in 10 years. He's going to be the guy that's the I don't know what he's going to do for a living.
I only make $11.50 an hour, so
hey,
yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it's you know, you won't always be making $11.50 an hour, and that's what they're betting on.
Right. No, and I thank you all for being here. I thank you all for participating and being part of this. And everyone, hey, we'll see you around the round. Wait, I gotta come up with a good, like I was gonna say, be safe, be nice to each other. But no, we'll see you around the roundhouse.
Don't let them miss each on the way out.
Yeah.
All right.
Bash.
Goodbye, guys. If any of you come down around Disney World for the next 2 months, I'll be in the 1800 loop in Fort Wilderness Campground.
And we'll be
1800, probably site 1809 if I'm lucky.
And we'll be jealous of him because it's going to be warm there and it's going to be snowy and cold.
Now, if I can just get the Walt Disney World Railroad running again. Ooh, yes.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend. GFW Trains out.
All right. Take care.